Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another exciting, action-packed edition of Crime and Sports. We have an insane episode of a very, very bad person today.
Fantastic.
It's a bad person today. Right. Normally, where we play asshole or idiot always, it's more of an ass. This guy's an asshole. No idiot here at all. He's too smart to be an idiot. He's a complete asshole. Great. We'll get into it. It's crazy. Before we get into that, just want to thank you guys for your iTunes reviews.
My goodness.
We're pushing up toward 5,000 on Crime and Sports, which is great. Thank you, guys. Yeah, it's amazing. Really, guys. Thank you. If you have not done it yet, I cannot express to you how important it is. The iTunes reviews. They're huge for us. They're the fuel that keeps a podcast going. Yeah. It helps you go up the charts. It really, really makes a huge difference. So if you have not done it yet, please get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. It doesn't matter what you say. Just say you're following instructions, following directions. It doesn't matter. It's not for our egos. We must feed the funky iTunes algorithm. It's not us. We promise you that. If that's not enough for you, if you're a superstar that needs to help out more than that, and you want to be one of our producers, like we talk about so glowingly at the end of the show, you can do that very, very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeinsports or going over to PayPal and using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com.
Right.
Over there, if you want to follow the show, we're at Crime and Sports on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Look us up and find us. Live small town murders all over the country. Shutupandgivememurder.com for that. You can find everything Crime and Sports there also, and that's links to the merchandise, which you can get at crimeandsports.threadless.com.
Right.
And all of your Crime and Sports and small town murder merchandising needs are there. We had a pretty cool week this week.
We did.
We talked to Mandy Malone. From episode 79.
Bananas.
Mandy Malone. We have to say, we love Mandy Malone.
She's fantastic.
What a great person. She's a good person. It's odd because we do all of these, and we don't hate these people. Some of them we do.
There's a few.
We hate Buck Zumhoff.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit.
We hate Dave Meggett. There's a few guys, a few people, like we say. Kelly Lane, I don't like very much. Yeah. There's people that we don't like generally, but some of the people we're like, I'm really rooting for this person.
And it's based on the stories that we find, which are based in fact, obviously.
They're
court
facts. Documents and such.
It's hard to argue those.
No,
so you tend to make an opinion and a intellectual opinion based on the information you have. So you tend to hate the people that are real pieces of shit.
And you can tell when we do this whole episode too, when you get 2 hours of somebody and we really go up their ass with a microscope too, when you get all of that, you really start to see a character of a person.
For sure.
The picture comes through and it starts the pieces start coming into form.
Even at the end of that episode, I believe we said something
we
like,
liked her.
I don't think she's a real terrible person.
No, she's not. And she's not a bad person.
She
had a hard time.
Yeah.
She had a hard time. And she had she went through a tough period, and she did some things that weren't great. And that's the thing too, is she'll say, that was a mistake, man. I
didn't mean to kick that guy.
That's what I mean. She's 100%. Owns up to shit she did wrong, and she honestly was really cool to us too. She said she liked the show,
awesome.
She thought it was funny. She friended us all on Facebook. She said that we got most of it right, as a matter of fact, except for a couple little things, something about her childhood, stuff like that. But that's the hardest stuff to find.
Yeah.
And so I felt proud of that. That we didn't butcher the story
and
either.
You should be proud of that. That you fucking investigated somebody that you don't know. That somebody that has a very small level of fame. You know what I mean? And you still found shit about her childhood to talk about.
It's interesting, but
pretty interesting.
we're pro Mandy Malone over here. So
good for you, Mandy
Malone's good stuff. We hope everything's working out for you. We root for you. She was one of those people where we weren't like, she's not a bad person. You know, it was just, she just did some shit that was a little crazy, and it kind of happens.
Product of her environment. That's how when you get treated the way the poor girl was treated. In terms of how she was coached. And
oh God,
people are just vicious to her.
Silver-haired, middle-aged white men all over the fucking place. I don't blame her.
Vile people.
I don't blame her. Like I said, I totally see how that happened, and that wasn't one of those where you're like, Jesus Christ. You know, it was like, oh fuck, that's so. She's
one that you root for not a follow up other than what we're doing right now.
Exactly. So a positive follow up for Mandy Malone. We like Mandy Malone.
I think that's the first one.
It's the first one.
The first one we're like, we did an episode, and here's a little bit more about her.
Yeah,
she's a fantastic person.
And she's also not bad. Yeah, she's also a good person, and her brother's very nice too. So, nice family. They're good people. They're good people over there. Crime and sports. This is a crazy one. Yeah. Let's do this. Have you ever heard of Robert Anthony John Hewitt?
No.
By any chance? Bob Hewitt?
No.
No. No, I don't know who that is. I didn't think you would. And I love finding these guys.
Is it tennis?
It is tennis.
Is it?
It is.
I think I have heard of him.
Okay. I would hope you have. He's a an Australian South African guy.
Okay. I haven't seen him then.
No.
I've just heard of him.
God, first of all, I can't. We have to describe what he looks like.
Does he have a shoe?
No.
Okay, I was going to say maybe that's why I know
He might have had one from back in the day, but we'll talk about it. They've long ripped those off the shelves if they did. Like, scrubbed them clean that they ever existed. Right. This isn't like the Black Superman where it's kind of funny. This would be like, no one's wearing those shoes. They would have a bad, negative connotation to them, we'll say, these shoes here. He's an interesting guy. We have to talk about his look right away. Yeah. Because that's the most... striking thing about him is he looks like Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day.
Really?
That's what he looks like. There's a picture
of
him
as a tennis player. He looks like that.
In his 20s, he looked like that. We're talking Homer Simpson bald.
Yeah,
nothing on top, just around the sides.
Terry Bradshaw do.
Yeah. He had, it was like gray. He looked like he was 48 years old when he was 27. This guy just looks like somebody's dad.
That's awesome.
Who has just worked in an accounting firm for 20 years. Yeah. He's very tired, and that's what he looks like. So that right away you have to.
Phil?
Yeah. Phil. Ned Ryerson. That's what
Ned Ryerson.
That's what we're looking at here.
I can see it right now. I can see his face and everything.
Imagine Ned a little pudgier, and that's what you got.
Ugh.
That's playing professional tennis.
How do you do that as a tennis player?
Let's find out here. January 12th, 1940, he's born. Okay. So he's an older cat. God, I can't describe how old he looks. It's just so funny. He's born in Dubbo, Australia, Dubbo. Okay. I'm going to call it Dubbo. Someone's going to correct.
It's fucking Dubbo.
It doesn't matter. It's Dubbo. Small town, actually, here. It's in New South Wales. It's about 400 kilometers from Sydney.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. He comes from a small town here. He started playing tennis very young, and when he was just 17 years old, people started noticing him already in Australia, in some small town playing tennis. That's how good he is. And he's a great tennis player. Yeah. No one can take that away from him. He's fantastic. When he was 17, he was noticed by an international tennis coach named Vic Edwards, who sounds like a slick guy that drives a convertible, doesn't he? Yeah. He's got greasy hair, a lot of chest hair popping.
Anybody named Vic, always.
And Edwards, I don't know, Vic Edwards, how you doing? It just sounds very much like it's not his real name. No. He's got a very, like a Slavic last name, or he's like Albanian or something, but he's like Vic Edwards.
Every time I hear used car salesman, I see the guy from True Lies. Every time. Every
it's
goddamn time.
To.
Yeah.
It's hard not to.
And I've known a lot of car salesmen in my life because my mom was in the business for 30 years, and I still every time.
That's the one.
That's exactly what they
he's
are, by
guy.
the way. He's a poster boy for him.
Yeah, there is no
Vic Edwards.
lie about that. That's just the truth.
They all look like that, so they should be called.
They wrote that character based on buying a car once. And they were like, yeah, that's the guy.
Guy that pretends to be a spy on the weekends.
Jesus Christ. Well, Vic Edwards was in town doing a country coaching clinic. This is like outreach to the sticks to find tennis players and help them out here. Yeah. He found Hewitt and thought that Hewitt would be a good international tennis player. Yeah. Like he said, this kid's got more talent than just to sit around here.
Sure.
you should let me take him under my wing.
Yeah.
We'll get him out there. We'll get him doing some things. He tells the parents that.
Okay.
And the parents are, sort of into it here. He's a pretty big guy, too, especially for back then. He's born in 1940, 6'3", 205 pounds back then. So that's a big guy back then.
Good thing he's that tall.
Yeah,
I mean, with that shit hair, not many people are looking at it.
That's the thing, and especially back then. Maybe they would let that slide a little bit here. Now, their whole family, the whole Hewitt family, was very much into sports and that sort of thing, and they were really, really happy that Vic Edwards drove up in his convertible Mazda Miata, got out with his medallions and his chest hair, flowing in the wind, and said, "Your son, I'm taking him." And he said, "Yeah, all right.
Get him in the car, hurry, because I got a meeting in England to because I'm a spy, you see, and I've got to catch some people.
I'm going to buy someone's daughter in about 15 minutes, so I don't have a lot of time. If
for
we could
2 hogs and a chicken,
could speed this up a bit." Jesus Christ.
Horrible.
So Hewitt's parents here, this is supportive shit.
Yeah.
Like, both of our parents, we come from like a very kind of shrug and, I don't know, whatever.
Best of luck.
Did he eat today, I guess? I don't know. He's alive. Fine. Right. We came from that sort of environment, not a real like, oh, well, we need to sacrifice everything. Right. So that's just not the environments either of us came from. Right. So this is like
my son is going to
a
birthday party tomorrow that's a Nerf gun birthday party where you're supposed to bring your own Nerf gun. And I went and bought my son a Nerf gun today. Like, that's the type of parent I am now
we're
because
better parents.
I didn't have that shit. If my parents found out I was going to a Nerf gun party,
I just wasn't going to that
they'd
party.
Give me a handful of rocks and tell me throw these.
Yeah, I would have been like, they would have said, like, just go. Someone will have an extra Nerf gun, and then I wouldn't have gone because I wouldn't have wanted to go.
Take your socks off, ball one of those up and throw it at somebody.
That's not going to work here. These fuckers, though.
Call it a grenade.
Yeah. They'll never know the difference.
You're going with grenades.
So these parents, though, are a different breed.
Yeah.
And this is back then, too. This is before kind of the whole, I don't know, now if an international tennis coach told you your kid had potential, like, parents would do more now because that's like a big deal. But back then, they'd just be like, I don't know, we have a business. They had a family milk business.
What?
They're like, I don't know, he's going to be milking cows, so is that good for tennis? Because that's what he's going to be doing. But not these people.
Right.
These people sold their milk business and moved to Sydney.
What?
That is a sacrifice, man. They changed their whole livelihood.
I'm blown away by that.
I can't believe that. The support.
Sold their whole life,
moved to the big city.
Start a new one.
From a small town.
Wow.
So he could play tennis. He could compete in local tennis tournaments.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like, you're putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
That's
or a lot
somebody
of milk,
that's got
a lot
tennis
of milk and eggs in that basket, either way.
That's somebody that's got tennis elbow from tugging on a cow tit for years and years. And it's like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. Let's bank on Junior crushing the tennis ball.
That's what it is, man.
That's what they did.
That's what they did. They took him to be under the tutelage of Vic Edwards, riding around looking for young honeys in the convertible here.
Oh, the young gash.
All them young chickies. One of his sisters stayed behind in Dubbo, but his 3 younger siblings, that was his older sister, his 3 younger siblings all moved too. So this is like a company move.
The whole thing.
4 kids, the parents, and they left 1 sister behind here. The father bought a bakery business in Sydney when he got there, and then his father ended up becoming a part of Vic Edwards' coaching team.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I've been working long enough.
Yeah.
I am going to Britney Spears this shit.
Fuck yeah.
And I am going to just make sure to kind of be in the estuary of my son's talent, basically.
Yeah.
If I just hang out right here in this little area and float, I'll not have to work very much.
Maybe
it's
there'll
much
be
better.
some money around that I can just scoop out of the water and jam in my wet fucking trunks.
That's all it is, man. So he would work odd jobs while he was still in school too. Bob would to make extra money because he wanted to be in like every single tournaments, even though his parents would give him all the money they could to be in tournaments.
Sure.
There would be some gaps in what he needed. So
I imagine
he would do that. It's an expensive thing, tennis. I mean,
Fuck yeah,
especially for these tournaments. It's goddamn
a racket
expensive.
alone is insane.
It's expensive.
And then shoes, and then you've got to look nice. Like how crazy is that in tennis there's very few that look like they're breaking a sweat. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
like they don't look disheveled.
They're from gene pools that don't sweat. That's why. They're from weird blue blood. It was funny. I was talking to Sarah last night about that, and she goes, you don't have a lot of hockey players. And I'm like, mostly all they do is DUIs.
Right.
And it's weird. There's not a lot. And tennis is the same thing. It came up because I feel like to play hockey or tennis, they're so expensive to play as a youth. You have to come from a half-decent family, at least a half-stable family.
And you get guided in a good direction.
Which slashes your chances of becoming an asshole in half, just because if your parents had the wherewithal enough to buy you hockey pads. They probably also had like a stable house, and you ate dinner every night.
And a ride to the games.
It wasn't like some crazy environment. It wasn't like some of these guys we've talked about. It was like, they're doing armed robberies at 10 because their mom's a jailed prostitute and shit
just
like
to buy trunks for boxing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, this is not the same thing here. Bob also delivered newspapers. He worked for a soda company for a while, and he also worked at the post office.
Jesus.
He loved the post office. He said later on, quote, "I always had a soft spot for the post office, for they paid better than anyone else, and I had a great deal of fun trying my best to foul up Australia's postal service."
What? So he was trying to fuck things up.
I think that's just his sense of humor.
Okay.
He's got a sense of humor.
Yeah.
And he's also a crazy person, by the way. For tennis, especially in Australia back then, he has never been seen before. He's John McEnroe 20 years before John McEnroe. Screaming, yelling, throwing his racket, cursing on the court. And back then, he was like an alien. They didn't know what the fuck to do with him. In the 80s, with McEnroe even, they were like, Jesus. But this guy then, they didn't know what to do with him. Like, he got banned from certain places for language and shit like that.
Oh, this is awesome.
It's super weird.
He's a Lenny Bruce of tennis. This is great.
It kind of is. Yeah. Calm that enthusiasm. Let's curb that enthusiasm just a drop. Just a drop, because I don't want you to be embarrassed later. Okay, so
I like him.
You don't like him. Just don't. I don't want the words "I like Bob Hewitt" to be on audio with your voice behind. I just said it. So it's on me, but I don't want you to be there too, okay? It's not good here. So he left school when he was done. He got a job with Dunlop, the racket company, which is a perfect thing for him. It's in the warehouse, and also he learned to string rackets. And they even gave him time off to play tennis there because they encouraged that with their employees. So it's kind of a perfect thing for there. He says he was always in some kind of trouble, always some kind of controversy ever since he came on as a teenager. Fiery temperament was a big deal, which made him really famous later on, but he could have been famous with just his playing. He didn't need this here. Started his professional tennis career in 1958. He's mostly a doubles player. He plays more doubles than singles. He's a tremendous doubles player. We'll get to all of his titles in doubles. It's insane.
Oh, sure. All you got to play is half the fucking court. And he's probably playing the front man position, being as big as he is, huh?
I'm not sure.
Actually, they rotate.
Yeah, I think they do based on the. But his career here, he wins 5 Grand Slam titles.
Jesus.
While between 1958 and 1967, which is pretty outstanding in doubles and that sort of thing. And we'll get to those. 1963. He's at the Bournemouth Championships. Bournemouth, I'm sure it is. Yeah. Sorry, even though it's mouth. And the word fucking mouth is a word. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, go on.
It's in the UK, so you know it's pronounced wrong.
It's definitely Bournemouth.
It's Bournemouth.
Right.
You know it's Bournemouth.
Yeah, it
you
is.
Fucking know it's Bournemouth, and it shouldn't be.
It's Bournemouth.
It's Bournemouth, you cocksuckers. Drink your milk. Sorry, listen to Gavin Grant episode. You'll understand that. So, he's at this tournament in the UK, and he meets I've tried to pronounce her name for 4 days now. Delisle. I don't know how to say it. Dalaille.
Okay.
Delisle? I don't know.
It's
Nichols.
Probably Delisle.
Delisle Nichols. Who's
don't listen to me. I clearly know nothing about
listen to the shout outs at the end of the show and get Jimmy's opinion on names.
It's probably, if we got the correct pronunciation, you'd be like, no, it's not.
I guess it could be Delilah if you really looked at it.
If you tried real hard. Right.
Well, she's from South Africa, so maybe it's spelled different. I don't know. You know what? Let's call her Delilah. Because I don't think I can say Delail for the rest of the show, because that's really weird to say. Delilah Nichols he was going out with, sure. Who is a beautiful young girl. She's a blonde. She's also a tennis player.
Of course she is.
She was playing on the international circuit also at the time. He meets them, and they become an item. Mm-hmm. I don't know how this bald bastard would... Because she's considered like a beautiful, great tennis player and like a smart woman.
Listen, there are hot chicks that dig bald dudes.
No, but
true.
But on this tennis scene, you're around a bunch of strapping, athletic young guys.
Tell that to fucking, what's that douchebag, the bald guy.
Andre Agassi?
That's the one.
But he was hiding his baldness.
Yeah, but he got all kinds of hot chicks.
But he wasn't walking on the court looking like Ned Ryerson talking about fucking where's a model for me. That wasn't happening.
He was.
I mean, shit, this guy is...
Agassi looks like a penis with eyes. He does. He looks horrible.
God.
His head is not even a good bald head. It looks awful.
Yeah,
and
but this guy looks like roll-on deodorant. He's that bald and he's white and he's just this... I can't imagine with all the other guys running around. This is... I don't get it. But apparently their relationship will last a long time. So apparently they... You know, I don't know. She must have really got. He caught her attention somehow. Okay. So this was a big deal, though, because it was two different tennis players, and the media got all involved in it. You know, the tennis media. I don't know what the international tennis media was like in the early '60s, but
probably 7 people.
It was all the rage. This relationship. Everyone was talking about it.
It's like the UN. There's one representative from each country.
That's kind of it. So it didn't deter them though from having a romantic relationship. They liked the attention. They didn't mind it. Yeah. She's South African. She's also a model, by the way.
Sure.
So this is what I mean here.
She's a catch.
She's a catch. Yeah. She's an athlete, and I hear she's very intelligent too. Is the other thing, and like that sort of thing. So it makes no sense why this woman would want this man, but it's fine. This is what happens. She wants him so much that on September 26, 1964, they get married. Wow. They goddamn get married.
And how long they've been dating? A year?
A couple years, a year and a half. They get married, he is an Australian guy here, but he decides to move with her to South Africa. Okay. So this kind of changes his...
South Africa is amazing, by the way.
I hear it's also the most awful, dangerous place on Earth.
Yeah, right now it's pretty dangerous.
You can't, walk outside without being robbed. So
but it's beautiful.
It's like 1975 Bronx with scenery, you know what I mean? Except nothing's on fire constantly. So it's... I don't know if you want to go there.
Yet.
Yes, it will be soon. And now it's on fire. Sorry, I had to wait one moment for that. And now. Okay. So he ends up becoming a South African citizen. Wow. Actually, switching his citizenship, which is a big deal because when he plays in international competitions, he's now playing for South Africa. Mm-hmm. So Australia's like, fuck, we just lost our guy. It's like our best tennis player. Now he's, what the shit, man? Yeah. He was born here. He's ours. God damn it.
It's basically how Puerto Rico feels.
Yeah, kind of same thing.
Constantly with our baseball, they're just like, "What the fuck? We had a great team for a minute.
They took him. Damn it!" So this guy here, known for his temper on the court, but people off the court, a lot of people didn't like him either. Yeah. He wasn't a real well liked guy because he was kind of a dick. People mainly arrogance, rudeness, and insults.
He's my kind of dude so far, man.
Okay. No, he's not. Okay, I want everyone to remember this quote because I'm going to bring it up in about an hour 20. He's my kind of dude, man.
So far.
Quote Jimmy Wissman. Okay? No, you didn't say so far.
I did say so far.
Well, I cut that part off. My kind of dude. Quote unquote Jimmy Wissman. Remember that. I'm going to get you a t-shirt. Right. Bob Hewitt is my kind of dude by the time this show's over. So at this point, the media calls him the bad boy of tennis. Mm-hmm. This bald, looking like somebody's math teacher, is the fucking bad boy of tennis. Bad boy. Come on, man.
That's how gangster your sport is, tennis.
Yeah, exactly. He's the bad boy. Looking like somebody's dad out there. Looking like he's going to yell at you for leaving your toys out in the yard and you hit one with the lawnmower.
I hope Paul Roost takes a picture of Ned Ryerson and then puts the bad boy of tennis on him.
You kind of have to when you see this guy. It's ridiculous.
This is great.
So 1967, he is ranked number 6 in the world, which is his highest career ranking. Okay. So he kind of hits career grace here. But not really, because he really kind of goes on and has a damn good career. There's an interesting thing here. They say that part of the reason he switched citizenship to South Africa, it's kind of a gray area because it happened, 50 years ago, so whatever, but is that he kept being overlooked by Australian selection committee for the Davis Cup team, which was your international deal.
He got pissed.
And so apparently there was a guy named Harry Hopman who helped put those together, and he didn't get along with him, didn't like him, whatever, so that's why he said, I'm going to fucking South Africa. appreciate my shit. I'm leaving Audio Boom for not paying me, and I'm going. I'm sorry. I got caught up in it.
That's what was going on in my head. I was seeing us defecting from England right now.
Exactly.
And telling England to go fuck themselves because of Audio Boom.
That's what it is here. That's what it feels like, you know? So we'll go over some early career shit in his doubles career. 61, he's the runner-up at Wimbledon, him and his partner, Fred Stoll. All of these early ones are Fred Stoll, which makes me think of comedian Fred Stoller, which I picture him out there playing tennis with Ned Ryerson, which is not athletic at all.
Never happened ever.
This is him. I don't know. And then Ned Ryerson, come on, play the front. Like the two of them together would be an awful tennis team. They're the runner-up in Wimbledon that year, runner-up in the Australian Championships in 62, won Wimbledon, was the winner in Wimbledon in 62, Australian Championships in both 63 and 64, Wimbledon winner in 64, runner-up in the French Championships, runner-up in Wimbledon in 65, won Wimbledon in 67.
You blew it, Australia.
He goes through.
This man's a champion.
French Open, he wins it in 72.
Jesus.
Wins Wimbledon also in 72. So in 72 doubles, they won Wimbledon and the French Open, which is pretty. This is when he switched to in 67. He switched to Frew McMillan as his partner. Frew, F-R-E-W McMillan.
The worst name ever.
Wow, that's terrible. We'll talk more to him later on.
Really?
We'll hear from him.
How did that fuck not change his name? How do you stick with that?
Oh shit!
How do you get to 12 years old and be like, I'm gonna hang on to it?
Yeah,
kids are so fucking vicious.
It might be a nickname too.
No way.
Who knows in South Africa what first names are? You know what I mean?
It could be
worse. It might be like Frulagar or some shit. And
it could be so much worse.
It could be terrible. Frulagar. What the fuck did that? That's not a name. So wins Wimbledon 72, wins the U.S. Open in 77, which we'll talk about for a minute later on. Wins Wimbledon in 78. I mean, this is killing it. Mixed doubles here with women. He played with Billie Jean King in 70.
Wow.
I saw there who she does not like him, by the way.
No, I'm sure she doesn't.
She does
he's
not
probably
like him
not a good dude
at all now. My kind of guy. Remember that. So, as a mixed doubles, he wins the Australian Open in 61, the French Open in 70, Wimbledon in 77. In 79, won the French Open, Wimbledon, and U.S. Open in the same damn year.
Wow.
With two different partners, too.
That's insane.
Which is pretty fucking impressive as far as that goes. He knows how to play doubles.
Sounds like it.
A lot more doubles finals, though. I mean, we're just tons of them. French Open, all these different open tournaments that he did, too. 1 million of those. God, there's one in Little Rock, which is... There are all these Vienna, Stockholm, Johannesburg, all these cities, and then I saw Little Rock, Arkansas. The Monte Carlo was right after Little Rock. You should never... have those things together, ever. They're not the same, everybody, at all. Not even fucking close to the same. Vienna is on the list.
That's for sure played on clay, because you can't... what a horrible, horrible way.
That always looks
it's
awful.
It's all lined with tires. What a shit fucking court.
Stop and slide. Yeah. It's the worst thing ever. So lots and lots of tournaments, though, he wins doubles-wise. It's pretty impressive, honestly, his whole doubles run with everything. He's one of the greatest doubles players in the history of tennis, which that's something, I guess, for you if you're interested in that. Just a couple of little notes on his tennis career. June 24th, 64, there's a big article on him beating a guy named Tomas Koch in 4 sets, 12-10 in the second round of Wimbledon. Yeah. A big deal in a singles thing. Okay. 3-6, 6-4, 3-6, 6-3 if you're a tennis person and interested.
Be great.
He beat this guy.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He must have been a good player for this is a big deal.
After the second round. In 1969, Jesus Christ, he gets in a fight with a British guy named Roger Taylor. Not that Roger Taylor, not the musician. There's several Roger Taylor musicians. None of those guys. It's an athlete. All right. They're in Berlin. And they're apparently they got in an argument with in the locker room, and apparently
did Roger owe him
Hewitt,
money?
He treats him like he did. Hewitt starts abusing this guy and just starts calling him names and everything else, and then also takes a swing at him. When he's done yelling at him, he goes over and takes a swing at him. Well, apparently this guy, Taylor, by the way, is a member of the Jesus Christ, of the Handsome Eight.
Oh boy,
which was a team. These tennis, they do world.
He's one of the 8 people in England that's handsome.
Yes, he's one of the. He's got straight teeth. Right. He's very good. So He signs up to be. There's a bunch of these like traveling tennis teams. Like these rich guys would put together world tennis championship tours.
Yeah.
It's so weird. And so he was a part of this one team called the Handsome Eight, which was put together by Lamar Hunt, who's the guy who started the AFL, which is now the AFC of NFL football. He was the owner of the Chiefs.
Wow.
The Hunt family still owns the Chiefs, I believe. So this is a big guy here. He was also apparently, because 68 was peak AFL.
Yeah.
That was when they were about to merge.
Right.
And he was
Loaded
also
with cash.
Yeah, and he's also creating World Tennis Championship tours at the same time.
And calling him the Handsome Eight.
Yeah, the Handsome Eight. So apparently this handsome Roger Taylor here, this handsome bastard who was known for his massive eyebrows, I saw a thing that said. Which,
so handsome.
Apparently all the Beatles had big bushy eyebrows too. That's what chicks wanted in the 60s in England, I feel like. So
well, you couldn't tell because they had such long mops anyway. That was a dumb. Whatever. I'm not going to get into it.
This guy,
what a dumb look.
Used to be a boxer.
Yeah.
Also, in terms of tennis, also.
Oh God,
so
Taylor.
It's this Taylor guy.
Jesus.
So Taylor dodges the punch and catches Hewitt above the eye and opens up a big cut over his eye, leaves him stumbling around. So he'll dish it out, but apparently he doesn't take a good punch in the head very well. Shouldn't have done that.
The guy with the mustache over his eyes drilled you and
good.
Drilled Ned Ryerson.
Yeah, caught you lovely. Yeah, that's what you picture. Picture one of the guys from Oasis punching Ned Ryerson. Picture one of the Gallagher guys punching Ned Ryerson, and that's what you got right there.
Unbelievable.
In a tennis lock, while everyone's wearing really high white shorts. Picture that also, which makes it much funnier, by the way. And sweaters.
Not just sweaters, that crushed velvet polo. You know the one I'm talking about?
Thinking like a cashmere V-neck.
It's like velvet.
Yeah,
the worst fucking... The 70s were the worst for fashion.
Terrible, man. So October 23rd, 1972, this is in the Naples Daily News. This is Naples, Florida, by the way, not Naples, Italy. Okay. There's a big article. It's an AP article, but I got it out of this one. Calling him it's called Bob Hewitt, the Jekyll and Hyde of tennis.
Awesome.
So this is hilarious. They talk about this recent match where he's... I love the way this is read because it's a 1972 newspaper article. Just moments before a boisterous Bob Hewitt had stood in center court and using his racket as a fungo stick had batted a line drive in the general direction of the umpire, trailing it with a series of expletives. So he hit a ball at the umpire and then cursed at him. He felt he'd been robbed of an ace when the official called a let ball on his serve. What ends up happening, Jesus Christ.
Is that when it tags the net?
I don't know exactly what that is, but it's the setting of this is what you have to understand. Yeah. This isn't Wimbledon. Like he's not like this is costing me international. Right. This took place in the parking lot of a racetrack.
Oh my God!
This is like some little tennis tournament.
They're using parking stripes as the net.
They called it on the parking lot of a racetrack, hastily converted for a tournament with cumbersome title of Golden Gate Pacific Coast International. Cumbersome title of Golden Gate Pacific Coast International. There were 62 people there.
Holy
that
shit.
Is the count of the audience. 62 people in a racetrack parking lot to watch him, and he's freaking the fuck out. And the match is against a guy, and as they call him, a quote, tranquil-natured 18-year-old Hindu boy named Vijay Armitage.
Oh boy!
In front of 62 people in a parking lot.
How many horrible things did he call that kid?
Oh, you know it, man. They talked about him, Hewitt, looking more like a stevedore than a tennis player, looking like he's working the docks over here, with brawny arms and heavy legs and a strong clefted chin. They don't, and the bald head does balance it with a touch of aesthetic, it says. Wow. They said he should have been easily cleaned up, this kid. But
yeah, and this guy's crushing the guy that answers your phone when you have computer problems.
Yeah, he's beating
the
this service
kid.
guy at Dell over here. He's beating him up here.
He's beating the taxi cab driver from Deadpool at tennis. This is horrible.
So he's beating Slumdog Millionaire at tennis. Right. This is a good job. So that's why he quit tennis after this and became Slumdog Millionaire. That's how this worked.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I made no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show.
So after this let was called, what he did was he sat down in a lineman's chair and refused to resume play until an arbiter was called in.
Oh, boy.
There's 62 people there. And he said, I'm not playing until someone comes. They're like, there's no one here.
I need
there's
arbitration.
There's 62 people here. How many people do you think made the fucking trip, dude? What do you think 62 people covers airfare for arbiters to come in here and decide shit? This isn't Wimbledon. What do you think? You're at the French Open,
this
dickhead?
This is great.
So he said that he should have been disqualified, but he wasn't disqualified. Instead, they just gave him the point.
Really?
They were like, just fine. We don't have an arbiter. Yeah. What are we going to do? These 62 people want their tennis. So they were like, fuck it. Just do that here.
VJ's just like, I don't care. He's going to win anyway. Yeah. Just give him the point.
The problem is the Indian guy, nobody knows the Hindu kid, and they know him. He's the biggest name in the tournament, and he's the number 2 seed here, and they don't have big names. They're in a racetrack parking lot for 62 people with a big name in it. What's going to happen if they have nobody there? So they're like, fuck it, keep him in there. So he ended up rallying. There was a weird ball thing. I don't know if it hit. It bounced weird. There was an odd thing that had to do with the court being, a makeshift court in a racetrack parking lot. And so he got mad and said, how can you play on this bloody court? Then he screams, why? He said that, and as a linesman called his ball out. And then he said, why is it always out when I hit it? Which is a hilarious question. And then took a ball and slammed it into the parking lot.
Fantastic.
Hit it into the parking lot as far as he could. The lineman made what they called a delayed call on a smash, indicating that Hewitt had missed the line. And he said, how can it be out when I won the point? So he's pissed off at that. Finally, he's smiling, walking around. He knows he's putting on a show, but he still can't help it. And I asked him about his temper afterwards, and he said, quote, "Oh, I control myself very well now. 10 years ago, I was really diabolical." Wow. Okay. What would you have killed somebody in a parking lot over a tennis match?
10 years ago, I would have committed genocide for that.
10 years ago, I would have killed every Hindu I meet from now to the end of time. But, now I'm a little calmer. I'm just going to kill him and his family. Diabolical. Which I love that word.
What a phrase to use.
I love that the Brits and the Australians use diabolical as just like a everyday thing.
Right.
Like if you say something, this guy did that, diabolical. I'm like, that's great. What a fucking great word.
It's
need to use that
it's
more.
a word we use as like the worst fucking evil thing you can do.
Yeah, it means you're like a superhero villain. You're like Lex Luthor if you're diabolical. You're making plans.
And in England, it's a guy that rockets a tennis ball across the parking lot.
Yeah, he's the guy.
So diabolical.
So 1974, the South Africa wins the Davis Cup title. This is all the pairs and everything, and this is their only Davis Cup title in '74. So it's a huge deal for South Africa, and he was central to the win.
Okay.
Problem was, don't get too excited about it because the only reason why they won this, maybe, we don't know, because they never had a finals, because India boycotted the finals because South Africa is an apartheid country, and they would constantly be boycotted everywhere they went. They were kicked out of tournaments because they're from a total asshole country. So it's one of those things like, sorry, we're not going to participate. And this is in the 70s. And they were still like, that's a little extreme. Sorry. And India, which is a fucked up country too, especially back then. The caste system was still going. They're like, you're too fucked up for us. Like, sorry. You know, we let people die in the streets and everything else, but this is extreme. The way you're too mean to black people.
The way you guys are.
Yeah. It's fucking nuts. So, this keeps coming up to the whole apartheid thing, and he doesn't seem to really care either way. He just seems like, I don't know.
At least it's not Australia.
He doesn't really have a lot of commentary on it. He just doesn't. He doesn't say like, well, not my opinion. It's just the government. He just goes with the flow.
Got it.
Also, 1974, his autobiography comes out. Oh. The Bad Boy of Tennis. It's called.
Already he's got
one? Well, he's been 16 years. He's been a pro.
Yeah, I guess.
He's got lots of press for being crazy. And then the
74.
74.
He's barely 34 years old. He needs a fucking autobiography already?
You got to do it now, especially in South Africa. They won the Davis Cup. He's very popular now. Yeah. He becomes a very popular guy here. Now, 1975, they're in a tournament, and the apartheid thing kind of rears its ugly head again. They are at, well, not ugly for kicking them out, but the apartheid being ugly comes up. We'll put it that way. They always get banned from events. Like in 1975, they went to Mexico with Fru McMillan, to try to defend their world doubles title, and Mexico deported them.
Really?
So get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Mexico.
They kicked their asses out for the apartheid thing. Like, the people are not okay with this. But there is somebody who doesn't mind apartheid, apparently, and that is New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to mind at all.
Doesn't seem to care.
Silver-haired, middle-aged white man, as they come, obviously.
Right.
If you've had your Super Bowl ring stolen by Putin, you're a silver-haired, middle-aged white man. If you were in the same room as Putin discussing jewelry. Ever. That makes you that. So Kraft here puts together a team in 75, 2 weeks after they get booted out of Mexico, called the Lobsters, which is a world team tennis franchise.
That's exactly who I see loving tennis. Guys like him.
Lamar Hunt, Robert Kraft. They grew up watching it in their country clubs.
Right.
So they do that.
It's a gentleman's sport.
Yeah, exactly. Right. This franchise was five businessmen, most prominently Robert Kraft.
Right.
So that tells you a lot there. It's weird, too, because he's now at this point he's got a beard.
Yeah.
He's bald as shit. He's gray as fuck.
That's what you do.
He looks like a bearded old gray bald man. It's very strange.
That's what you do.
It's super weird. He looks like somebody's fucked up professor at this point.
It seems to be, I don't know if it's just an insecurity. I don't know what it is. It's something that if you can't grow hair on your head, you better have an amazing beard. It feels every time I see a bald guy that's like at least hanging on to a little bit of hair up top.
Yeah.
His beard is fucking. It's gorgeous.
It's not a good look for you.
No, it's
I
not.
Gotta be honest with you.
I look stupid. I do.
No, you're fine. But you don't have a big giant beard.
That's true.
So you're good.
It's pretty bushy today, but it's because I need to shave.
You're fine. But this guy becomes the face of this team of the Lobsters. They use him in all their ad campaigns, which is hilarious. Come see this guy play tennis. That looks like an exciting athlete right there. This bald-headed old man. Wonderful. Him, and also they would feature their coach, who was Ion Count Dracula Tiriac was his name. I want a coach named Count Dracula.
Fuck yes.
Jesus Christ.
I want anybody in my life named Count Dracula.
That's what I'm saying. Hewitt only lasted one season with the Lobsters because he had an elbow injury at the end of 1975. So he found temporary work as a tennis director of the Village Green Racket and Swim Club in Danvers, which sounds very, very upper crusty.
Yeah.
And this Danvers stuff we'll talk about later, definitely. The owner of this place, Alan Greenberg, helped the Hewitts, his family, his wife, and their preschool daughter settle in a motor inn nearby.
Yeesh.
So they're trying to settle him in
Where
around
is Danvers?
Massachusetts.
Okay.
It's in.
I was going to say, it sounds like something that's
around the Robert Kraft. Same thing here. So at this point, he's got his family in a motor lodge. He starts.
Gross.
Yeah, that's terrible here.
Motor lodge sounds disgusting.
Motor lodge, and now he's got to coach people.
Yeah.
Now he's got to be like the tennis pro at the country club because his elbow's fucked up. He starts coaching, just secretaries and just dudes who, are accountants.
Yeah,
and
12-year-olds whose parents want to keep them out of trouble.
Fucking kids.
Yeah.
Imagine had shitty rich kids having to coach them.
The worst.
Now hit it one more. I don't want to.
Right.
My mother's. She's calling their maid in to do something.
It's hot out here.
Fuck, man. Jesus. Never mind. Never mind.
You're in shorts and a T-shirt. Hit the fucking ball.
Throws a racket at him. Takes a swing at him and calls him a dirty Hindu. And they're like, dirty Hindu? What are you talking about?
My name's Trevor.
Flashback. Sorry. He began coaching a woman named Heather Crow at this point, too, a 14-year-old named Heather Crow who went on to big things, actually. She started at 14 in Danvers. She won the Massachusetts High School Singles Championship in 77.
Wow.
Captured a national singles title at Indiana University in 82.
Wow.
And played professionally. She played from 82 to 88. She played against Chris Everett, Martina Navratilova.
Wow.
Like, she became a tennis star.
Yeah.
That was like one of his first students
That's
there.
incredible.
So that's pretty incredible here. So we're going to call this grace. Okay? This is real grace. This isn't public grace. This is actual grace, okay? Only we know about this grace later on. This is a very complicated one. There's two graces.
Okay.
This is real grace. No one knows this is grace yet.
Okay.
We'll know later, okay?
Right.
But this is grace. 1981, he's still playing in the doubles and all that, but he keeps having recurring injuries. Tennis elbow, Plus, he looks like he's 70, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
He continues to coach. He's really good at coaching the youth tennis. He gets these people everybody he coaches ends up with a scholarship.
Yeah.
They end up with tournament wins and pros, and so he's good at that.
Yeah.
1981, he takes 20 tennis students to the U.S. to play from international. They take 16 boys and 4 girls there. So he's really becoming big in the coaching aspect and kind of becoming like a mentor to a lot of people.
He builds champions.
Yeah, and he's a former player, and I would assume respect a guy who's got a bunch of trophies and shit like that.
I would.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If I was in a sport and this guy was a champion internationally and you won Wimbledon, you're telling me to, I'll get my elbow a little stiffer. I'm going to hold my elbow a little stiffer, He's
played tennis legitimately all over the world.
Yeah, everywhere.
And he's won all over the world. That's a guy that you want to teach you things.
That's what I'm saying here. May 4th, 1982, he has his last pro event. It's in Johannesburg, South Africa. He plays a few other, I guess I'd call them semi-pro tournaments here and there, mixed doubles only, really, for the next 4 years. But this is his last pro. He got paid to show up.
Got it.
Not, trying to win a couple $100 in prize money tournament.
In a parking lot against a Hindu boy.
In a hard parking lot against a young Indian boy. Imagine how fucking clueless he was.
Right.
Some 18-year-old Indian kid, and he's standing there, and he was from India.
Right.
Like he was probably what is happening?
Right.
Why is this? And he probably respected Bob Hewitt. He's an older guy, and he's probably, why is this man screaming and throwing things? I don't think you're allowed to do that. Unless then he took that back to India and became the John McEnroe of India. Became like a real media's darling.
It's like Chris Bosh playing basketball against kids right now. Like an 18-year-old kid, and he's playing one-on-one, and then he's throwing the ball and kicking shit.
Well, this would be Chris Bosh 5 years ago before he was retired.
Before his heart fucked him.
Before his heart gave out on him. This guy looks like his heart's going to give out on him, and he's fine. Chris Bosh, he looks fine. His heart's fucked up.
He doesn't look fine.
You never know.
A mess.
He looks better than this guy. Oh, yeah, that much. At least he doesn't look like he has grandchildren.
Chris Bosh doesn't look like he could find a woman to fuck him in order to have grandchildren.
He does look like
That's
an alien.
ugly man.
So he is. He is. So they lose this doubles match. This is his last match. It goes out in a loss. Career record here. In singles matches, he is 257 and 177 career.
My Christ.
And then in doubles, he is 501 and 125 career. That is crushing it right there.
Holy shit.
That's amazing. 501 and 125.
There's nobody in any sport that has that record, do they?
That's a sick winning percentage.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy, though. He won 7 titles in singles tournaments and 65 in doubles.
Wow.
65, including winning all the Grand Slam doubles titles, both in men's and mixed doubles.
You would expect, granted he played early, but you would expect that man has a fucking hell of a nest egg sitting at home.
You would think so. Well, actually, he made in his career $613,837 in winnings.
Wow.
So that's not bad for then.
It's horrible.
For back then, it's great,
Yeah,
though.
but you expect a guy like that to still be alive today, and there's no way you can survive off that today.
Well, no, but if you invested it, baseball players made goddamn $48,000 a year back then. So that's not terrible. I mean, you
pretty bad.
In the 50s and 60s, what was he making?
64-time champion, and he's got $600,000.
He should have more, but this is 1982 we're talking. Okay. He retires with that. So
listen, I'm on board with you. It's just, I feel bad.
At least a couple million now, which he should have more still. I agree with that here. So
I bet Andre Agassi's got way more money than that.
Well, I don't think
he's got.
I was going to say, I don't think he was doing camera commercials and shit like that.
He's got a lot more endorsements.
He was all sorts of. Plus, tennis became a huge sport. More with once cable came in and once TV blew up, then everything got more. The salaries were more for everything.
There was just like a handful of tennis players that really made good money. Right?
Yeah.
Like Pete Sampras, Agassi, Martina Navratilova.
Now they do all right. I mean, they do pretty well now. No, especially like in the 80s and the 90s and the 70s.
It's a bummer.
Well, there's so many.
Bummer.
There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. So you have to be in the top whatever. And it's like golfers are the same way. There's a lot of golfers out there that don't make shit golfing.
They don't make anything.
Yeah, they don't make anything. Or they make $63,000 a year, which is fine. That's a fine thing to make. It's a good salary. But I mean, it's not great if you're a professional athlete. You'd probably want more when you decide to be a professional athlete. I don't think you're like, I'd like to make $60,000 a year. Yeah, just be comfortable.
Sounds like comedy.
Yeah, it sounds just like comedy. Jesus Christ.
You want to be not even a famous comedian, just a comedian that works. You're making $30,000-$40,000 a year.
Good luck.
Best of luck.
Unless you're famous, that's what you're making.
Enjoy your Corolla.
I love that. Yeah,
and your rented apartment in a shit neighborhood.
The clubs wonder why we won't open for people anymore, and it's like because we don't want to.
No.
We don't. What are we trying to do? What's the goal here? To go on the road with some guy, and so we can make $300 a weekend? No, I don't fucking think so. No, thank you.
Right.
So, that's ridiculous. Yeah, comedy's awful. Don't do it. If you're thinking about doing comedy, drown yourself in a shallow pond instead. It's much less painful.
With your children watching.
Yes. Well, you know what?
And you're hurting less people still.
And if you're deciding to do it, drown them too, because they're going to fucking suffer enough. They're going to suffer now.
Holy shit.
Everyone, drown your children.
Yes,
that's what we're saying.
Find a tub.
In a shallow pond. Yourself too. Don't get me wrong.
For sure. Don't half-ass it.
No, don't half-ass it. And only do it if you're planning on doing stand-up.
And if you're going to half-ass that, you were going to half-ass stand-up anyway.
Exactly. You're going to be terrible at it. You weren't going to write. You weren't going to write.
No.
You think you were going to go home and work on your set? No.
You were going to give it a valid shot? No.
You were just going to dick off, go to open mics, and invite some of the people from work to watch you, so
and
they can
force them to watch your dumb fart joke.
It was great.
and then on the off chance that you do end up opening for somebody, then when you tell them to come open or come watch you, they're going to be like, "Oh, we've seen what you did."
Yeah,
no, it's all right.
We're good.
We're fine.
Thank you. We're really good now. So. What an odd life, though, this guy has had here, from Australia to South Africa. He's got, like I said, a decent money, but also that money, that's not all he's going to have, because now he's going to be a commentator and he's going to do all that stuff too, because he's very famous. So
I bet that pays better.
That's probably pays. He probably made more in the 80s commentating than he made in the 70s playing, which
disappointing.
is I guarantee you Terry Bradshaw makes way more per year than he made in his entire career playing for the Steelers. You know what I mean? Or at least in half of it or whatever. I mean, that's...
I'll bet the house he has now is paid for with zero money from the Steelers.
Oh, absolutely. He retired in 84.
Right.
They hadn't fucking guys weren't making shit in 84 still. I mean, if a guy, they were making nothing. I mean, there's no way Terry Bradshaw had $8 million and he retired. Right. He didn't. If he had $200,000, he was lucky.
But I'll bet he made $8 million last year.
That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. So that a lot of times it's just more lucrative, and you see guys. You don't know why. Why is he retiring? Oh, he's got a couple more years left. Then you see him in the booth, and it's like, why wouldn't you want to go make the same money to not get the shit beat out of you all the time? That seems logical. Or to go fuck up your elbow in his case.
To tell you what you've just seen. That's so crazy.
Not even what a job. Some other guy does that. They just ask you what you think about what you've just seen. And you go, well, that's pretty good. When I played, I did it like that. And they go, all right then, good insight. And they go back to what it is. You don't even have to do shit. Yeah, you literally have to sit there with thoughts that are in your head. You don't even have to pay attention. They'll ask you shit, and then you answer it, and you're fucking $3 million.
I'll tell you,
that's a great job.
Tony Romo is the best commentator that ever lived, and I'll say that with confidence now. People will disagree with me. What he did something last year that I've never seen ever in my. There was a play that was going to be called, and he fucking he knew it was going to come.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a weird call.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing that was going to happen just to run out the clock, and they did exactly what he said, and I'd never seen that play ever.
Really?
I never even seen him do that play, and they still did it. It was fucking bananas.
He probably also knew what their
He probably saw the
are, and he talked.
He probably interpreted the sign.
Yeah, who knows if he's friends with the other guy too, and he's telling him, "Yeah, this is what we do in this situation."
Right.
Who knows what quarterbacks
Either
talk
way,
about shot-wise.
And I was blown away. And from this moment forward, Tony Romo will always be the greatest commentator I've ever seen.
I actually don't mind Tony Romo
I like him.
as a commentator. Oddly
his
enough.
voice sucks.
His voice sucks.
He's got a terrible voice.
He can't decide what he's going to say and then say it. He's all over the place. He'll start saying something. He has no idea what he's going to say halfway into it. Well, let me tell you something. I was watching this play last, and the guys lined up on. Did you see Johnson on the defense? Because he was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But then in the end, he somehow brings it all together and it makes sense.
Amazing.
And I'm like, all right, well, I think I got what he said. I think I got insight out of it. Although he had no idea what was coming when he started. So very odd.
That's
but
hilarious.
As far as Cowboy quarterback announcers go, he beats the shit out of Troy Aikman. Not quite as good as Don Meredith. So 70s Monday Night Football announcer. He was funny. He's like a funny cowboy hanging out with Howard Cosell. I'll take him over Romo. But other than that,
I love Romo.
Best cowboy quarterback announcer there is ever. Well,
and I can get beyond the
make sure
voice.
Quincy Carter doesn't have a job next year, because then he could be up for a challenge. You never know. Chad Hutchinson could make a run.
So terrible.
Steve Pallor could come out of nowhere. You never know. It's an 80s.
I didn't even know that one.
80s cowboy quarterback. Fucking terrible. God, he was awful, Steve Pallor.
God, I was so lost. I obviously knew what he did.
Babe Laufenberg could be coming in from the bench. You never know.
So disappointing.
Oh, Jesus. Cowboy quarterback.
I love him.
So, yeah, not bad. So, 1992, Bob Hewitt's worked through the 80s as a commentator. It was kept up his tennis coaching. That never stops. He's taken youth teams everywhere, all over the world. People are going to college left and right. Things are going great for him. 1992, he's inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame.
Holy shit.
The International Tennis Hall of Fame. It's only him and his doubles partner there, Fru, are the only South Africans inducted into this Hall of Fame.
Fru got in?
Fru got in because of him, because they were massive doubles champions. Yeah, it's kind of like why, a bunch of Steelers offensive linemen are going to the Hall of Fame from the 70s, too, if we're going to talk about 70s Steelers. Like, that fullback was good,
awesome?
too. Yeah, it wasn't Jack Lambert or Terry Bradshaw or even Webster, etc. It was him.
Yeah.
It was fucking Rocky Blyer. He's the one that made it happen. Okay.
I love that when they just start throwing the whole goddamn team. And it was a few dudes that were pretty fucking talented.
That's it. I love Franco Harris.
Yeah.
I can't figure out if he's Italian or black.
That's a good question.
Okay.
What is he?
I don't know what he is, and I've been dying to know forever. He looks
Franco,
black.
tweet at me and tell me what you are.
He looks black.
Yeah.
His name's Franco, which throws me way off. And in Pittsburgh in the 70s, he had the Franco-Italian Army, they called it. And they had signs, Franco-Italian Army. So it's like, is he fucking, what is he? He's like The Rock. Like, what is this fucking guy?
Like The Rock.
He is. He's like the 70s Rock.
Vin Diesel.
Franco
what the
Harris,
fuck are you?
The Rock of the 70s. No idea what you are. I hope you're Italian, Franco Harris, because I'm sure you're like half black. Are you half black, half Italian?
James will claim you.
I'll claim you, motherfucker. You're not a lot of Italian athletes.
Player.
You're on our team, especially football players.
Right.
There are not a lot of them.
No.
You're on it. We're claiming you, goddammit. Franco Harrisino. So he coaches youth tennis still. He's taking people around the world. Bob Hewitt, not Franco Harris. I don't know. Franco Harris could be taking youth tennis teams around the world. Somehow I doubt it, though. I don't know what he knows about tennis. He was lots of years as a commentator on South African television. He operates a citrus farm in Ado or Addo, in Addo, Addo, South Africa here. From 98 to 2007, he runs a citrus farm there. He has his own citrus farm. So he's doing well. He's investing well. And like I said, he's used his celebrity to make money.
Okay.
He's doing very well.
At minimum, he's doing fine.
He's doing fine.
Yeah.
They talk about his, this one article says, quote, he has lived like a country squire, motoring about Addo in his BMW, attending social events with his wife, browsing the town's library, dining at the community's finer restaurants.
Wow.
Sounds like he's living a fun.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good life to me.
Sounds like a dream.
Hanging out, tooling around, fucking attending events, just reading.
Yeah.
Reading, dining at the nice restaurants in
Lots
town.
of things in big hats. That's what he's doing.
I'll do that. That sounds great. This is way better than my fucking life. So I'm going to trade with this guy right now. He also wrote for an online South African newspaper called News Time.
Okay.
He was very much into writing these articles. They were opinion pieces on tennis mainly, where a lot of them were like the, these damn kids type of thing. Which is hilarious because of what he was. Everyone in the 60s was like, we can't have, he's ruining tennis. Right. He's disgracing tennis and all this. Right. Now, speaking of Andre Agassi, in 2009, in one of his last columns that he writes, he just rips apart Andre Agassi.
What?
Tears him apart. Hates him.
How do you hate that guy?
Hates him. Agassi was being inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame that year.
Why.
And he called him a disgrace. Just an absolute disgrace. He said he shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because Agassi disclosed that he used crystal meth as a player and failed a drug test and lied to avoid punishment, saying he accidentally sipped a friend's spiked soda, which I guess that was his story back in the day for failing a drug test.
That's where people put their meth?
That's they put it in their soda. Spice it up a little bit. Some people put, like, nowadays a shot of vanilla or something into those things. No, he said, get a little meth in that soda.
At Andre Agassi's worst, he's a terrible liar.
That's
what he is.
Liar.
That's
awful liar.
Just say, I smoked meth at a friend's house.
Yeah, so that's just,
dummy.
I fucked up.
Yeah.
Everyone thinks you did anyway. No one went, well, he drank soda.
It's possible.
It was in there. It was in. How many times have you had a friend's soda? It's always got meth in it.
What a horrible
It
lie.
always has meth in it.
It's either that or a goddamn bee.
It's that, a bee, a condom, a used condom. There's always something in a friend's soda. You never know. Bees.
It's so sick. What a terrible lie.
Methamphetamine.
Sometimes there's meth and bees.
It happens. Just don't drink your own. And when you leave your can, you get a little napkin and ball it up and just stick it in there so nothing gets in there.
Keeps out the bees and the meth.
And the condoms, really, because they'll fall right in there, too. People flinging them all over the place. You never know.
Stupid.
So Hewitt spends his whole article ripping Andre Agassi to shreds, his character, mainly this meth thing. He says, quote, why, oh, why has he now decided to open up? This isn't going to do him or the game any good at all.
Why, oh,
why?
So
he's not saying he shouldn't be in because he used meth. He's saying he shouldn't be in because he admitted to using meth now, and it's put a black eye on tennis.
Okay.
So fuck him for being honest, even though no one forced him to, and he was just trying to be honest. And the title of the article was, Is There a Right Time to Come Clean? It's the weirdest article.
What?
Where's the moral center to that article?
What the fuck?
Where's the moral center? It's not at meth. You don't care about that. You literally care that he admitted it now, which seems like morally a good thing, but it's bad
because he didn't do it when he did it.
Because he didn't do it when he did it. But then if he did it then, he wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame either because he should be kicked out of tennis. So there's really no winning. If you drink your friend's spiked soda, you're just fucked forever in this guy's eyes.
But
he hates you.
So he starts the article with a posed question as the title, and then the article is essentially answering that question.
Yes. No is the answer to that question. There isn't.
There's never a good time. Don't ever say it.
If you do meth, keep it to your goddamn self.
Do it and you get away with it, shut up.
Shut the fuck up. We don't need to hear shit from you, goddammit.
Oh, Christ.
Why, oh, why has he now decided to open up?
Is that the first words, why, oh, why?
Why, oh, why?
I hate why, oh, why so much.
This isn't doing him or the game any good at all, exclamation
what
point.
A passive-aggressive thing to do.
Why, oh, why has he now decided to open up? I love that. Like, you're not... Good for him. If there's anybody out there, maybe there's players who are on meth now that can maybe get some of... Nope, none of that shit. Fuck him. How dare he have a problem?
I want him to write an opinion piece about OJ's book.
Yeah, no shit. Let's hear that.
Why, oh, why?
Why, oh, why did you cut her head off, Juice? I'm going to say it now. Yeah. This is public grace.
Okay.
Public grace. Right now, he's a fucking... international hero, popular guy, commentator, newspaper column writer.
So popular he can rip Andre Agassi.
He can rip Andre Agassi in South Africa. People think he's a great guy.
Right.
This is Grace. He's running a citrus farm, tooling around in his BMW, eating at fine establishments in a big stupid fucking hat.
Right.
This is Grace.
Okay.
Absolutely. Great. I would like this Grace. This isn't bad at all.
I'm fine with it.
Hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about TrueCar.
TrueCar.com.
Here are some useful car tips you might not be aware of.
Yeah.
A coffee filter and a little bit of olive oil can clean your interior.
That's handy.
Removing excess weight from your car will improve your gas mileage.
What?
And you can place your key fob in your chin to increase its range.
I did know that.
Weird. That's weird stuff. I actually have heard that too. Well, here's another tip you might not know about. TrueCar also helps people get good used cars.
That's true.
They really do. I'm telling you that right now from personal experience because we bought a used car through TrueCar.
Right.
And it was a great experience. Found the car we wanted. Got it at a great price. It was at the dealership when I went there, ready to go.
There it is.
It was the best, easiest way I've ever bought a car in my life. TrueCar isn't just for buying new cars. With their certified dealer network and nationwide inventory of nearly 1 million used cars, you'll enjoy real pricing on actual inventory and a simpler buying experience, whether you buy new or used. And with TrueCar, users can see what others paid, so they know if they're getting a good deal before buying. They're also more likely to enjoy a faster buying experience by connecting with TrueCar certified dealers. When you're ready to buy a new or used car, check out TrueCar and enjoy a more confident car buying experience. Some features are not available in all states.
Yeah, that's true. At TrueCar.com. And now, back to the show.
Hello, guys. It's MMA fighter Chael Sonnen. Check out my podcast, You're Welcome, with Chael Sonnen every Wednesday and Friday right here at Podcast One. We cover the latest in mixed martial arts and everything else going on in the world of sport. Listen free to You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen, exclusively available on Apple Podcasts, at podcastone.com, and on the Podcast One app. If you love the show, share it with a friend and leave us a rating and review.
So that's public grace, like we said. That is definitely public grace because shit takes now remember, Jimmy.
Yeah.
He's your kind of guy.
My kind of guy.
Your kind of guy.
I like
let's
this
talk
guy.
about Jimmy likes this guy. He's his kind of guy. All right, let's talk about Jimmy's kind of guy.
He
all right?
stirs the pot and he makes waves.
He stirs the pot, all right.
Okay.
I liked him too for a minute. I'm like, yeah, cool. He's in the 60s in Australia and he's telling people to fuck off and firing balls at umpires. Like, this is cool. I like him.
Saying racist shit to little Hindu boys.
Then I found out the whole story.
Oh, boy.
I'm like, I don't like him anymore.
Okay.
Let's talk about what happened in August of 2011.
Yeah.
Okay. Living a life. He's a country squire, as he's described.
He is now fucking 51 years old.
He is 51. Shit.
Born
He is
in 40,
61.
right? Oh,
61. 71. Sorry.
71.
He's 71 years old.
I am terrible at math.
You were 20 years off.
Holy
That's a
shit.
lot. Yeah, he is 71 years old.
My Christ.
Had a career. He's a famous old guy, commentating, right? Just having a life right now, living a life with his wife, still same woman too for all this time. So they must have been in love. They must have fallen in love immediately and got married because they're still happy all these years later. Now, August 2011, it gets a little bit less happy. Okay. Remember Heather Crow?
Right.
Heather Crow. Well, she's now Heather Crow Connor in 2011. She'd gotten married, but we'll call her Heather Crow. Heather Crow in 76 is when she started taking lessons, as we talked about, at Danvers. Remember, he was at Danvers. She was an honor student and a Girl Scout and all that, too, in addition to becoming a professional tennis player and all that sort of thing. But she was a very innocent young girl at the time, obviously. Now, this was when Bob just came off his run with the Boston Lobsters.
Right. From the Robert Kraft people.
Robert Kraft Boston Lobsters here. Wow. But also he was doing some shit that nobody knew about. We'll talk about here. He coached tennis. Coached tennis. He found Heather Crow in 1976 at his first day in Danvers. First day teaching in Danvers, he found her. He offered to coach her for free.
Really?
She's 14 at this time, like we've described.
A little bit suspect.
Offered to coach her for free. Now, because what he'd been doing, he's been building a little something on the side here where he's he seems to have a lot of girls around that he coaches, a lot of teenage girls around that he coaches, and that's always kind of a little thing here. Now, Connor says that Hewitt began preying on her soon after he recruited her as a student.
Bastard.
She just turned 15 at the time, and oh my God, Jesus Christ Almighty. He first had sex with her in the fall of 1976.
Oh my God.
Near the tennis courts at Mascone Regional High School in Topsfield.
Ugh.
Your kind of guy.
Oh my God.
Still your kind of guy?
He's banging 15-year-olds at the high school.
At the high school.
Jesus.
This gets worse.
Okay.
And worse.
First
and
had
worse.
sex with her.
First
Oh my God.
Had sex with her.
Okay.
This is, he is a fucking monster.
Oh my God.
He's a monster. Connor nowadays says, quote, I may look fine and dandy, but I'm still kind of a mess.
Of course.
She said this in 2016 when she filed a complaint with Topsfield Police in 2011, saying that Connor said that Hewitt was driving her home from babysitting his daughter.
Oh, dear Christ,
his fucking
no.
daughter that October when he detoured to the school and had sex with her.
Oh, good Christ.
Oh, my God. I'm fucking sickened by this guy. Wow. In the police report, she said he raped me, which it's statutory.
That's pretty obvious.
Statutory rape. It's obviously it's illegal to fuck a 16-year-old or a 15-year-old in Massachusetts.
Just turned.
This is not Alabama.
Fuck.
Everybody, no offense, Alabama, but I think your legal age is 14. So offense, Alabama.
You might be a little bit behind.
I think it's Idaho too. It's like 14.
Oh, good Christ.
Jesus Christ. So Dan Cummins up in Idaho. Keep it in your pants,
son.
please. Yeah. We know you're not interested in it, but you never know.
Looking.
Don't go looking. Connor said that Hewitt, quote, told her not to say anything, and she told no one, is what she said. It's fucking unbelievable. Now, the guy who ran the court, there's a Greenberg guy who ran the country club. He says, quote, Heather was a wonderful girl. I feel terrible something like this happened. Connor said that Hewitt had sex with her again when she was 15 at a Springfield hotel.
Oh, Jesus.
In February of 77. My God. She said when she just turned 16 in the summer of 77, Hewitt engaged with sex with her twice more, first in a car at the Longwood Cricket Club at Chestnut Hill and then at a house in Louisville. Ugh. What a
vile.
I don't even know
what
what to say.
This,
the Louisville, by the way, because this was going on, this just gives you an idea why I said it was Grace privately. The Louisville thing happened 2 weeks before he became the oldest man at 37 years old to win a U.S. Open doubles title. So he's having sex with teenage girls, with children, and then he's going out and being praised by everybody. The whole deal. And Connor said, quote, I was the innocent one in all of this. I don't want to sound vindictive, but I want him held accountable for his actions.
Well,
fair. Very, very fair. The Essex County prosecutors believe that she is, quote, certainly is credible, is what they said about the whole thing. She's not like some she's not hasn't been in prison for the last 20 years saying, Bob, you would rape me from the back of a cell, which even then, look into it, but still, I mean, seriously.
Even then, look into it.
But I mean,
there's
you might
a certain
go
lack of credibility.
You might go, I don't know how good her credibility. Let's check it out, but we don't know what her credibility is.
Definitely investigate.
She's an upstanding person that has no reason to lie about this shit. Especially 40 years later. She has no reason to lie about this.
Thing.
They said also an investigation would stalled in this because there's so much time has passed and that he's in South Africa and there's a lot of evidence left after 40 years and that sort of thing.
Tends to go away.
She said she maintained a sexual relationship with him while she won the Massachusetts High School Singles Championship in 77 and also through the Indiana University in 82.
Jesus.
And also she pretty much kept up with him for a while. Last time she saw him was when she retired in 1988 from tennis. She said she was vulnerable to his overtures because she believed him when he assured her that they would together be. He was telling her one day when you're growing up, we'll be together.
Oh, boy.
We're going to be together. And she's a kid.
She's brainwashed.
And she's brainwashed. And also, she looks up to this guy. She trusts him. She's been told by everybody to trust him. And he's a big famous guy who's winning U.S. Open tournaments. And
big ugly famous guy.
Big ugly famous guy. But yeah, so I mean, you can't get any more. You feel fucking horrible for this kid. I mean, he didn't like fucking jump on her and force it, but it doesn't matter. She's
worse.
A kid. It's worse.
So much worse.
That's what I mean. That's exactly where I was going.
Ingrained in her fucking head that she needed him.
Exactly where I was going.
That's fucking horrible.
Not saying it's less to do it this way. It's worse to do it this way because you're fucking torturing their mind and you're doing it for years.
Right.
And this is fucking horrible, man. She said, quote, as someone who considers herself a logical and rational person, it's shocking to me that I was so completely brainwashed for so many years.
Oh, God.
Which I don't blame her. And she has 2 girls of her own as an adult. And she's, she didn't tell anybody until she was 32.
My Christ.
32. On the night before her wedding in 1994, she told her sister.
Oh, boy.
That's the first time. And then she told her new husband 2 weeks later about that. Her husband, Ryan. She told
Poor
that.
Guy.
Yeah.
He's got
She...
he's got so much work to do.
He's got work to do. She's got work to do. Yeah, everything's fine. By the way, this Ned Ryerson raped me for years. That's shit. We got to work on this.
We have to stay the fuck out of Punxsutawney.
Yes, we do, man. She said she was going to keep the secret to protect her aging parents because she didn't want them to be upset by the whole thing.
Yeah.
But she became, she said, so overwrought by the onset of her long suppressed emotions that she had trouble coping at home and work. She said she began fearing for the safety of her oldest daughter, who was 14. She just started feeling like people were going to try to do this to her.
Right.
And she felt so damaged by the incident that she took medical leave from teaching and had to go into counseling. Also, too, she was an elected member of the Pentucket Regional School Committee, and she relinquished her seat there. She just needed to take a step back and just go into therapy from the whole thing.
It's so horrible.
She said, quote, I was effectively falling apart and needed to do something about it.
Yeah.
So she just, man, it's so...
It's horrific. And when your children get to the age when it's happened to you, when your children get to the age of when it happened to you, I understand what she's saying.
Yeah, she's freaking out.
Fucking
I don't blame
brutal,
her.
man. It's the worst goddamn thing.
I can't blame her.
You can't possibly fathom how many thoughts go through your head when you start thinking about that your child is so innocent right now, and then when they get to the age of then when they get to the age of where you were, and you go, but at this time I was so fucking ruined.
And I would assume at that point too, with like her, she's probably keeping her daughter out of activities and things like that because she's worried about it. And then she
doesn't know.
Yeah, that's negatively affecting her daughter's life too. And it's tough, man. It keeps going. It's a cycle. She when she resigned from the committee, she actually spoke publicly about it. Didn't name Hewitt, but said also she did an article. An article in a local newspaper talked to her, and she did not name him in the article either. But she listed, quote, enough of his achievements that he was easily identifiable to many in the tennis world. So she gave dog whistle.
Girl.
So all the tennis people knew who they were talking about, but it wasn't a public thing.
I like her.
It was that sort of thing. Yeah.
She's my kind of girl.
Yes. And a lot of these people started coming out, tennis people, saying, yeah, we all felt weird with him. And it was a lot of buzz. A woman named Tanya Hartford, who played South African professional tennis and kind of at the same time as Bob.
Sure.
She said it was a very sad day for tennis overall,
which
it's, but fuck tennis. These, Jesus Christ.
How do you, that's a fucking word. I hate when people do that. This is a sad day for, no, it's not. It's a sad day for Miss Crow and anybody else that this fucking asshole got to.
Even worse, this one, it's a sad day for this Tanya Hartford because she should absolutely feel horrible about herself because in the 1980s, Hartford said, she spoke to a 14-year-old girl who alleged that Hewitt lured her into a sexual relationship in the 80s.
Yeah.
She recalled the girl's father was going to complain to the South African Tennis Union, so she didn't do shit about it.
Wowza.
She should have complained too. Let's get multiple complaints on that. Hewitt, apparently then, this was late 80s, after this happened, apparently Hewitt was quietly barred from coaching girls.
Really?
They were just like, you don't coach any more girls, and that was that. They didn't make a big announcement. Hewitt's not allowed to coach girls anymore. They were just jerks. Like, stay away from the girls. Yeah, because it would have looked bad.
Yeah.
It would have looked bad. And that's what
black eye for tennis.
This is what I mean. This is what this is all about. This is all about silver-haired, middle-aged assholes.
Jesus.
Fucking protecting their cash register. That's all it is. And literally, a lot of times it's the detriment of whoever or their wife, which that's still terrible. But this is innocent children, and you're not protecting them at all.
Not doing a goddamn
No one
thing.
protected them. And guess what? This isn't the first fucking time they knew about it either.
What?
This shit came out. We'll find out.
Okay.
This came out as early as 1981.
My Christ.
1981 when a girl filed a complaint that was fucking ignored.
Where were you in 81, Twitter?
That's
Hashtag
the
me
thing.
too.
Yeah,
God damn it.
Exactly. No shit, man. So he's accused of this. Now more women come forward.
Yeah.
Now we're up to 4 women come forward. When she comes out, more women come out. All of them were these women that come out were between the ages of 10 and 14
Oh, my
at
Christ.
the time.
What?
Jesus fucking Christ, man.
10.
Between 10 and 14. Complaints were lodged as early as the 1970s. I know of definitely of 81, but this article says the 70s. I'm not sure. I just know the incident in 81.
Sure.
With leaders of the South African tennis community, and nobody did shit. A guy named Keith Brebnor, who managed tennis events. He managed tennis events in South Africa. Said he privately expressed concern about the allegations involving Hewitt in the mid-'70s to Glenn Franklin. Glenn is his name. The then president of the South African Tennis Union, which is now defunct. Bresbor said to Franklin, who has since died, told him that the girls only had one recourse. That was to take Hewitt to court. They were like, well, they can take him to court if they want. That was her.
Disgusting.
That was this person's response to
Disgusting.
it. Was, I don't know. Well, fuck's none of my problem. And this guy said, quote, I said, for God's sakes, you can't put a little girl on the witness stand. He said Franklin agreed in the process that the process would have been horrendous. And this Brebnor said, quote, that was the end of it. Unless somebody was going to put their money where their mouth was, nothing was going to happen.
This is awful.
So, you know what I mean? And this is one of those things where you get a famous guy, nobody fucking says shit.
Right.
This is why I did this story, because there's so much of this going on right now where it's a famous person and everybody knows about it, everybody jokes about it, everybody says it behind everybody's back, and then there's people that actually have to fucking go through
There's
it, though.
people that have to live with this shit.
And it's just a funny joke for some reason until it becomes a thing. Yeah, everybody would talk about Harvey Weinstein's casting.
Yeah.
We're not fucking in acting. We're not in and I knew about that shit. You know, like everybody fucking knew about it. They made jokes about it on TV shows. 30 Rock talked about it in joke. It was a thing, but it wasn't anything that anyone should be concerned about until it somehow, I don't know what the breaking point is to where everyone said fuck Bob Hewitt, never mind, but it took till he was 70, for Christ's sake.
Disgusting.
They just put it under the carpet.
Wait till he's an old man. And the same goes with this Bill Cosby stuff. Apparently everybody knew. I mean, I didn't know because I wasn't fucking.
It was a thing, though.
It's
it was a known
thing that everybody knew.
Yeah, they made the Family Guy jokes about it and shit. It was a thing, and that's what they were from.
And that's what Hannibal Buress didn't even know he was going to start something like this because he thought that everybody knew.
That's the thing. It was one of those things that everybody knew. And this guy, this is mainly, I feel like this is South Africa's inferiority complex, that they only have 2 tennis players in the Hall of Fame. That's what it is. They don't want to fuck it up. And I feel like that's what it was then. It was like, ooh, he's kind of our best player. So not really going to care about that right now. You know what I mean? I'm sure little girls get molested all over the place.
It's him and Fru. What do we got?
Don't know what to tell you. Yeah, that's what I feel like it was, which is disgusing here. I don't even know what to say about this guy.
So awful.
His partner, Fru. Fru said that he and Hewitt were never close off the court. They didn't hang out. They didn't. He
didn't want you to know, Fru.
Yeah, they said they'd play and then they'd go their separate ways. They wouldn't talk again until they played the next time. Like they weren't buddies.
He's off finding kids.
Yeah, that's the thing. McMillan said, "quote It comes as a shock. I would have never imagined it possible." Which I would hope you would say that, and not say, "Oh yeah, I saw him. He used to finger little girls all the time." I used to say, "Will you get that finger out of that kid and get over here because the match is about to start."
It's 30 love. Get
Come
over
on.
here.
What the fuck, man? It's doubles. I'm out here alone. Cut it out. Jesus fucking Christ, man. He maintained his certified coach status by the U.S. Professional Tennis Association all the way up until now. They said unless a member is charged and convicted of a crime, or he or she is basically allowed to maintain a membership status with us. So he was never convicted. So the rumors, I would like to see rumors of child molestation be met with more than unless he's convicted of a crime, we don't do shit. How about, hey, dude, until you clear up your child molestation charges, you're fucking not involved with us
How
at all.
about you meet those allegations with a guy with a microscope and a fucking tweed hat?
Until the woman who accused you comes to us and go, I was mistaken, never mind. Until that happens,
we're going to have some talks.
We're not going to have you around kids at all. How's that? Fair? I mean, what the fuck, man? Also, his Hall of Fame status is intact at this point.
Wow.
Because they have the same thing. The Hall's criteria is pretty much the same as the coaching, so it's one of those things. They do have a character thing in their thing, but he's already been inducted.
Right.
It's hard to get somebody out than it is to get him in. You know what I mean? The South African Tennis Association reserved comment. I bet they did. I fucking bet they did. Sorry. What are they going to say? Sorry.
Right. It's going to look bad if you have a comment and you're not pulling him out.
Yeah. You want to hear a real asshole?
Yeah, I do.
John Korff. We're going to get to a few assholes, but John Korff, Korff, because he's a dick.
Yeah.
So that's how you spell his name, so you don't yell at the wrong person. He was the general manager of the Lobsters when Hewitt played for them. Yeah. And now this guy now serves as a director at large of the U.S. Tennis Association, okay?
Really?
This was in 2011. I'm not sure if he is now, or 2012. He was pissed off at Connor for coming forward.
What a dickhole.
He said, quote, gee, it's nice of the girl to pop up 35 years later. Give me a break. That's what he said. That's what this fucking guy said.
Give me a break.
Give me a break. And he waved it off. Give me a break.
I got a break for you, sir.
You piece of shit, asshole.
I'll break your fucking leg.
Let's look up and
what
see
kind of shit thing is that to say about a girl that was fucking brainwashed and molested for 20 years, you dick?
Nice of her to pop up 35 years later. Give
what
me
a
break.
jerk.
You asshole. So if the U.S. Tennis Association is still employing this asshole,
you are dicks.
Fuck you, U.S. Tennis Association, too.
If they're anything like the gymnast side, then they're assholes, too. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Fuck them all.
So now, reporters confront Bob in his yard.
Yeah.
They go, he's unloading groceries from his car with his wife in his front yard in South Africa.
Hey, you got any little kids in there?
Yeah. His wife walked away.
Yeah.
They asked him about the allegations made by Heather Connor, and he didn't say. He said he knew. He said he didn't know who Connor was. He said, I don't even know who you're talking about. And then they said at the time her name was Crow. And then he's like, okay, yeah, I know her.
Right.
Which you kind of have to tell him the updated name if you want him to fucking know what you're talking about. And they asked him, quote, you don't know her? He said, no, I would rather just forget about it. That was his quote.
Why?
So he then acknowledged knowing her as Heather Crow and said, quote, what's she bringing it up now for? That's what his fucking quote was.
Wow.
That is a bad quote.
That's not a good one
That's
at all.
not a great quote.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything's a better quote. Or I don't know what you're talking about. It's a better quote. Or she was a nice young girl. You know, I hope she's doing well these days. That's a good quote. What's she bringing it up now for?
Oh, boy.
Not a good quote.
No.
That's the last thing you want to say.
How about because there's no statute of limitations on that, sir?
Yeah. There is on some of these, too. That's the
really?
fucked up part. Yeah,
no.
Some of these there are. Some of these there are. If it was justice, it has to be a sexual assault for it to be. It's crazy with the statute of limitations here. He declined.
That's
Hewitt,
fucked up.
Isn't that fucked up? Hewitt declined the reporter's invitation to come to the or to look at Connor's because he had Connor's police complaint there, which is a 5-page. Also, with it was a 5-page memoir she wrote about the experience with him. So there's a lot of details, and he wouldn't even look at it. He also rejected several opportunities to rebut her allegations, and those involving other underage girls who we'll get to.
Wow.
She's not the only one. You think he does this
not.
once?
That's not your first time.
No. He said, quote, I'm not saying anything. I don't want to talk about it. And then he went inside. That was it. Wow.
I'm 71 now. I've beat this for 50 years.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. I'm going inside now. So the problem is a lot of these old tennis players knew of it. They said it was no secret. In this, it was a tight-knit community, South African tennis community. They all know. One guy.
How do you guys not take it upon yourself to beat the living fuck out of
this? That's what
man?
I mean. Well, they all joked about it the same way, like casting couch, haha. That's what it was. One guy, Raymond Moore, who's a big tennis player. We'll talk about. He has a really vicious comment on it later on. But he says, quote, that Hewitt's conduct was, quote, was a terrible, terrible thing. We are all praying and hoping he would get his comeuppance, but he never did.
Jesus.
Well, you could have said something also. At this point, they were unclear how many girls were involved. The whole deal. It was just a can that just got open, and the snakes were coming out. It was like one of those where they all pop out the
snakes.
top. Yeah, man. Including, let's talk about one of these snakes. Sue Ellen Sheehan is one of these snakes.
Sorry.
I know. Not a bad thing.
No.
Just because
It's
they're
a
popping
fun
out
snake.
of a can. They're good snakes.
It's hilarious,
They're
this snake.
Great snakes who nothing bad happened to, and they have no trauma, and they've never been molested. They're non-molested
They're not out
snakes.
for themselves.
No. So Sue Ellen Sheehan, December 2011, she's a South African woman who filed also a rape case against him, who said she was a little girl. She was a girl in the early 1980s. She said, oh, my God, she told her mother about it, and her mother, quote, dismissed it. This isn't the only time a kid told their parents and they said no.
What?
That's the other thing. Back then it was like, no one's touching you. Now it's like the kid could be fine and they're like, they're touching you, aren't they? Everyone's touching you. Everybody thinks no one wants to do anything more than touch your kid's butthole. Right. Most people don't want to touch your kid's butthole. I'll tell you that right now. Yeah. Very few people do. You want to watch out for those people. They're very dangerous.
They're out there.
But not many people are interested in your kid's butthole. I'm just telling you that right now. Back then it was like, my kid's butthole. What are you kidding me? No one wants that. Ridiculous. Wow. She said that Sheehan said it took her decades to overcome the shame and guilt and to go public. But she went to the Hall of Fame with these concerns first, and the Hall refused to do anything about it. Wow. They said, go fuck yourself, so she filed a police case. Because they basically said, well, didn't get arrested for it or anything. So she said, is that what it takes? Fine.
I'll go get him arrested then.
Yeah, so then the Hall of Fame started an investigation after that. She said, quote, when I was 9, he started asking me if the other girls were virgins when I didn't even know what a virgin was. When I was 10, it escalated to him taking his own hands that he needed to teach me about what he called the birds. He began to taking it into his own hands that he needed to teach me about what he called the birds and the bees. Gross. And that's what he did. Wow. That is fucking...
that's disgusting.
Horrible, horrible, horrible. She said she was so upset by the whole thing. And when she told her mother asked if she was pregnant. That's what she said. And she said she wasn't. And her mother was like, fuck it, you're fine.
Wow.
That's insane. Oh, it gets worse. Okay. Let's talk about Twiggy Tolkien. Okay. Twiggy here, she's now in New Zealand. Her family also went to the South African police with allegations to the police against Hewitt when she was 13 years old.
Okay.
13.
Yeah.
But they dropped the case because her parents didn't want her to have to go to court. So they dropped the case. Okay. She said her father told South African tennis officials about the allegations. That was when we talked about earlier, and then was shocked to see him being asked to escort young players on international trips because that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
Tolkien says, quote, they all knew and not one of them did anything. There was absolutely nothing done to stop this man, which no, there wasn't at all. Nothing done. So there's a huge probe now in July of 2012. So now he's got probes in the U.S. He's got probes in South Africa for fucking little girls. This is horrible. The whole thing here. He's this week in July of 2012, South African police said they completed an initial investigation into the rape case. Police say they're awaiting guidance from prosecutors on how to proceed with the case because these are 1980s rape cases, which are they're a little bit. They're hard to prosecute.
DNA's kind of gone.
That's the thing. They're hard to prosecute physically. It needs to be like we need
him to say he did this,
or make these girls have to be super believable. Right. These women at this point have to be super believable. Otherwise,
we need 30 cases of the women saying exactly the same thing, or him saying I for sure did that. That's what they need.
No, that's exactly what it is. And they talk about there's a spokesman for the South African group called Women and Men Against Child Abuse, and he says that athletes, their parents, and coaches must recognize that pedophiles seek opportunities in sports just as they do in church, school, and other organizations where children can be found. Of course. Wherever there's kids, that's where pedophiles go. Right. That's the thing.
It's like sharks with seals.
Right. Yeah, it's where they fucking hang out. Yeah. There's for a reason there. Yeah. You know, why do drug dealers hang out on the corner? Because that's where fucking people walk by and you could sell drugs there. Right. That's it. They go in an alley, no one walks by.
Right.
Location. Is what we're saying. Where are the kids at?
Right.
That's where I'll be.
You bet.
Not me personally, but them.
No. And playgrounds, churches,
And a lot of Jimmy's friends, because this is Jimmy's kind of guy.
I'm my kind of guy.
Very sorry. I don't mean that at all. Jimmy does not endorse this behavior.
He stirs the pot.
This, by the way, he does. He's stirring the pot, all right.
Jesus.
This, by the way, is extremely not crime and sports approved behavior.
No.
This is definitely, this is not crime and sports behavior.
You go the opposite. You start down this path, you turn around real fast. Go the other way.
That's what it is. This Luke Lamprecht, the group of Women and Men Against Child Abuse person, said that sports officials may shy away from acknowledging this because they think it reflects badly on them. But, quote, they have a special responsibility in the same respect the Catholic Church does.
Right.
They absolutely do need to acknowledge that they are a haven.
Exactly.
Yes, they do.
Right.
They need to say, look, we got a fucking problem here, and we need to root it out. But they
and
go,
it's
if
not
we just ignore it, no one will. It's bad PR. Fuck.
They got to understand, too, that with sports comes very tight-fitting clothing because it interferes with their ability to be mobile.
Also,
and
physical
a fucking
tennis
tennis skirt,
you can touch.
Jesus.
You can touch.
Yeah.
You can touch kids when you're.
Right.
Oh no! Put your elbow up here. Grab this. Your
you
hips
gotta
go
guide
here.
them. Ugh.
It's disturbing. You need someone extremely trustworthy that has zero
Zero
interest in children.
right.
Like I've said before, if someone wants to coach children, don't let them coach children.
If they show up angrily, like that is interfering their day, right?
You should have to force a guy. I trust the guy who shows up hungover to the T-ball game, coach, and going, fuck, man, I had to work a double yesterday.
Eyes squinting, going,
God
you're doing
damn
fine,
it.
you're doing fine.
Just shaking his head, not caring what the kids do. Just like, stop yelling. Everyone stop yelling. That's the guy who's not going to touch your kids. He does no interest in your kids whatsoever. All he wants to do is get as far away from them as possible so he can have a drink, get this headache to go away, and maybe watch football later. That's all he's interested in. The guy who's like, hey, kids, come over here. That's not a good guy. You think that's a good... Oh, he's great with the kids. Right. Yes, he is.
Of course he is.
Wants to fuck a few of them. Not all of them, but some of them. He's picked out his favorites.
Hot ones.
Yeah, he's picked out his favorites. Don't worry. Jesus Christ, man. Oh, what a fucking mess, man. What a mess, what a mess, what a mess. This person from that organization tried to put forth like a guideline thing so kids know what's appropriate and what's not appropriate in sports and blah, blah, blah. So they know if any of this stuff happens, I should say something.
If it makes you uncomfortable, it's inappropriate. That's
well, the
what
kids
it is.
don't know.
I know.
They don't know to be uncomfortable even.
Believe me, we know.
Yeah. Oh, they don't even know. Like we could talk about later. He comes up behind girls and he'll come up behind them and like rub on them and act like he's showing them what to do with their hips. Yeah. And he'll have what he says are, I have balls in my pocket. Ugh. Tennis balls in his pocket, but really he's rubbing his dick on them and stuff like that. God. And they don't know enough to know that they don't know enough. They just didn't know. These girls are 12. They have no experience in this sort of thing. They don't know they're being molested.
They don't even know what a virgin is.
They don't even. That's what I mean.
They've never seen the dick.
It's fucking horrible here. It's horrible. So this whole deal here, they talk about, this Lamprecht talks about coach predators all the time. And he says, quote, you have a person who can realize the dreams and aspirations of a child, and those dreams and aspirations of the child are also often the dreams and aspirations of the parent.
Exactly.
Which is the parent ignores it.
Right.
Because if you got a guy, if you sell your milk company and move to Sydney so your kid can be a tennis player, you might ignore any negative things about that. If you do everything so your daughter can be a tennis player and she has this Wimbledon champion coach, maybe you ignore
and your retirement is based on how well she does.
Maybe you ignore that shit. They talk about how Sugar Ray Leonard published a memoir saying when he came out publicly for the first time, saying he was sexually abused by an Olympic boxing coach.
What? How come I didn't know that?
I didn't know that either, which is crazy. When he was a teenager,
Sugar Ray.
First of all, the balls on this guy to be touching Sugar Ray will fuck you up. Number one,
damn right.
But he was a kid and he didn't even know that this was. Yeah, he didn't know what it was happening.
I had no idea.
It's crazy, man. There's also the junior hockey coach Graham James. I heard about this one, who pleaded guilty to sexually abusing Theo Fleury and a couple other players,
really?
hockey coaches. Yeah, Fleury said that this guy, quote, skillfully manipulated us all, and eventually my parents entrusted my care and well-being to him in order to allow me to move to other towns and cities to advance my hockey dream.
Jesus.
Exactly what we said. Remember Mike Danton's coach?
Yeah.
Same shit.
Yeah.
You trust these guys because you want that for your kid and you want it for you.
Yeah.
And you do this shit. Sue Ellen Sheehan here, she says, quote, I've been trying for the last 30-odd years to get my life back. I haven't recovered yet.
Jesus.
She works in she's the manager of the South African Golf Association. She's an office manager for them. So that's what she's doing. There's also Gina Reed, who was in her 40s now. She said she was 14 when Bob began sexually harassing her. She said he threatened more than once to rape her. Threatened
to rape.
Threatened to rape. We'll hear the words he uses because we have letters that he wrote these girls.
What?
Oh, I have letters that he wrote these fucking girls.
What
that
a
I
monster.
Found. What a fucking monster. And this, I had to buy some crazy book that came out. It's insane.
Okay.
So to find these letters because I needed to have these letters. This Gina Reed said, quote, I was devastated then and I'm devastated now. He screwed up my life and broke down my belief in people. Yeah, you're ruining people, you fucking asshole. Another woman here, Nicole Gold of Sea Island, Georgia. She was the fourth woman. She said she was 13 when he began sexually harassing her and tried coaxing her to have sex with him. They said both Reed and Gold had pretty much the same account. They said that he sexually harassed them during the same period, although they never discussed it with each other until they were adults. So they didn't know what was happening to either one of them until later on. They were like, oh, fuck.
Thought they were the only one.
Yeah, in separate interviews, they recalled Hewitt repeatedly pressing against them while he was sexually aroused, among other inappropriate actions and comments.
Gross.
Gold said she was 13 during a tournament in Miami in 1982 when Hewitt urged her to visit his motel room to have sex with him. She said, quote, I was scared to death. I found the biggest guy on the South African team and asked him to stay in my room. We put a chair against the door until my mom got there the next day.
Wow.
That's how fucking frightened these people are of him.
My God.
And they don't even know what a monster he is. They just know.
They just
but
know
still,
that they're uncomfortable.
She got a vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Reed had a similar experience. She said she warded off Hewitt's numerous attempts to kiss her. She said he made his most forceful advance in the garden outside a home near Johannesburg when she was 14. She said, quote, he was so desperate to get to me that he told me he was going to have to rape me in the garden.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy. She said she eluded him, but she felt helpless to report it because of who he was. He was the king of South African tennis. Reed said her father eventually found her a new coach after she cried and asked to be moved away from him, basically. She said that she found no relief at home because her mother was adamant that Hewitt didn't do anything to her. She said that you don't know what you're talking about. He didn't do anything to you. He'll make you a great tennis player. Dismissed her complaints about Hewitt as, quote, rubbish. That's rubbish. Get out of here. He's trying to rape me.
How much does she hate tennis now?
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. She said, quote, all of us were so young that we didn't know if anyone would believe us. We felt so alone because you don't know, especially a famous person. Yeah. At this point, Hewitt's finally suspended from the Hall of Fame.
Really?
They finally suspend him at this point.
Enough ladies came out.
Enough people came forward where it was so embarrassing for them to fucking ignore it. Yeah. They had to. The impact of this whole thing here, there's no statute of limitations for cases brought under the state law forbidding sex with those under 16, so long as the complainant is, quote, supported by independent evidence that corroborates the victim's allegations. That's the Massachusetts state law there.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
A few miles from the glass spires of Midtown Atlanta lies the South River Forest. In 2021 and 2022, the woods became a home to activists from all over the country who gathered to stop the nearby construction of a massive new police training facility, nicknamed Cop City.
At approximately 9 o'clock this morning, as law enforcement was moving through various sectors of the property, an individual, without warning, shot a Georgia State Patrol trooper.
This is We Came to the Forest, a story about resistance.
The abolitionist mission isn't done until every prison is empty and shut down.
Love and fellowship.
It was probably the happiest I've ever been in my life.
And the lengths we'll go to protect the things we hold closest to our hearts. Follow We Came to the Forest on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
And now back to the show.
They talk about this, and this really fits him. There's a guy named David Finkelor, who's the director of Crimes Against Children. That's a laugh. Crimes Against Children
awful name.
Research Center at the University of New Hampshire. It really is. Jesus Christ. He spoke about this. He doesn't know anything about Connor or anything, but he said, quote, "The fact that some abusers are good at making their victims feel beautiful and loved makes it difficult for the victims to come forward. Mm-hmm. We don't often talk about those dynamics because we're afraid someone will accuse the kids of being at fault, which they're not. But a lot of kids do collaborate in their victimization in the sense that they are initially flattered by it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes that takes a long time. They don't know that they're being abused. Right. That's the thing. They think someone's being nice to them, which is fucking disturbing." Ray Moore, who we talked about, the other tennis player here, when we said terrible thing was his deal, and we said, why didn't you fucking say something? Well, it gets worse. He says that Moore says that the whole tennis community long suspected Hewitt was up to something with young girls he was coaching. Listen to this shit. He said, quote, "People would make rude jokes, that Bob would go into a coaching lesson with young girls and not take his tennis equipment with him. He'd take along a jar of Vaseline. Crude. We'd all snicker, but we didn't know the extent." That's your fucking jokes?
That's hilarious.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Say something. What the fuck?
He wouldn't take tennis equipment. He'd take Vaseline.
That's an open joke.
That's hysterical.
And
no one
says anything. They let this shit happen to these poor kids. Like nothing, man. Oh my God. Wow.
Would they say that about a priest who left his Bible behind? Like,
yeah.
What fucking planet do you live on where that's okay? He's fucking jerks.
He said that South Africa was a very closed society. It's very different than it is today, and that's why. And they did a documentary, and in this documentary, this Moore becomes all emotional, and he starts crying. He says, "I think I could have done more. I think I should have pushed more." You think?
I think you should have beat the fuck out of him.
Yeah, I think you should have said, "Hey, if I hear one more fucking thing about you fucking with little girls, I'm going to beat you with this tennis racket and cut your dick off."
Right.
Just cut this shit, motherfucker. Right. None of us are taking this shit. We're going to take you out back and break your fucking arm and see how you play tennis then. Maybe that would have done something. I doubt it, but at least maybe he would have
known that people are seeing it.
He would have at least known it was happening. Yeah, that's what I mean here. Now, Connor again here, Connor Crow, whatever you want to say it, decided to come forward, she said, to bring him down a notch. He was in the Tennis Hall of Fame, the whole deal. She said, "I want him to know what he did." She also won a civil lawsuit against him.
Really?
But she said she's not likely going to be able to collect anything on it because it's from another country and it's very difficult. She said she described her relationship with him as Stockholm Syndrome.
Of course.
She said that she claimed that he groomed her in such a way that he appeared to be kind, even though she said she was hurting him. After the abuse, she said that she was convinced she was special and she was the only one he was doing this to. In recent years, she said she came to the realization that she wasn't the only one, and that was, quote,
she's nothing.
That was brutal to her.
Yeah.
She was in love with him. Right. She thought they had a relationship and they were in love. And this was like,
finds out this guy is just a monster.
She always thought of this as like this beautiful relationship that when I was a kid, and like some fucking some teenage boy fucking his piano teacher or something, and that's how it was a beautiful experience. And it's not Mrs. Robinson.
No.
This is fucking not that at all.
This is grooming
a horrible man
and ruining
that knows how to groom really well. She explained that her lifelong secret defined who she was. She said, "It's kind of who I am," about the whole thing. She's she's had a horrible time. Now, Hewitt denies this in interviews. Denies this completely.
He doesn't say it. He doesn't.
They talk to him on the radio.
Yeah.
And he talks about. He starts. They get him on the radio to say, "Hey, kids said you fucked them."
Right.
Okay. He gets on. He says, "Well, it's been a tough 14 months. Excuse my voice, but Delilah and I have been married for 48 years now, and we've managed to share everything that we possibly can. And she's had the flu, and she's decided to give it to me. So we just keep on sharing." I don't care. That's not how you start this conversation. You start this shit out in a serious, somber tone, asshole.
No, sir. I said, "Did you fuck kids?"
Wow. He chuckled and continued by saying that he first heard of the accusations leveled at him by Heather Crow Connor 14 months before this. He said it came as a major shock to him and his family. He didn't know what was going on. Among other things, Crow claimed that Hewitt had given her free lessons, which sounded like she was insinuating something. Hewitt says that he did give her free lessons. He had signed a deal with a club in Boston, like we talked about, and that he was giving free lessons to a lot of people. He said he wasn't fit to play, and he was just giving free lessons. He said, quote, I needed another month, maybe 2 for recovery. So I signed with this tennis club, and she's a local girl. So they asked me if I would help her out. I said, yeah. I said, of course, I'd rather be on the court coaching than hanging around doing nothing. So that's exactly what I did. I gave her a few lessons for nothing representing the club. And then she made some accusations, but they're unfounded. She came here. She came there. She got tickets from me, which is true, whenever I could get her tickets.
Gross.
So he's saying, I don't know anything about her. I don't really know her. I gave her a few lessons, but then I gave her tickets for years, and we kept in touch. And it's like, well, which is it?
Right.
Did you give her a few lessons and never talk to her again?
Why would she, if she was getting free lessons, why would she keep talking to you?
Yeah. He then says... He says that his wife was with him almost all the time, as was his daughter.
Oh, you don't want to say that, sir.
Yeah, no shit.
Don't incriminate them.
She said, as was his daughter up until 1979 or 80 when she started school, and when you really started fucking underage girls. That's when it really picked up. He only had one before that. Then he had a bunch after that. He said, quote, so nothing really adds up as far as I'm concerned, and I don't know why she would like to raise this issue so late. This supposedly happened in 1976, I think it was. I mean, that's a long time ago, but apparently she has a daughter coming up to the same age that she was, and she wanted to help her. Jesus Christ, man.
No. She has a daughter coming up to the same age she was, and she's starting to fucking have flashbacks because you're an animal.
Oh, my God. He went to the States. He said he went to the States at great cost to himself to take along his lawyer. They spent several days. He said they met with the Tennis Hall of Fame's lawyers, and they all agreed that the Tennis Hall of Fame guy made up his mind, and nothing they did or said during the course of the inquiry would change that. He called some of the questions he was asked, quote, stupid. No, there's no stupid questions here. Eventually the lawyer told Hewitt that one of the co-accusers had said that she received tickets from Hewitt for the Standard Bank Arena, and he said, now, I don't know if you know the Standard Bank Arena, but I know it because that's where I did a lot of my commentary from. Oh, boy, this is crazy. And when you're sitting in the commentary box, the people sitting on the opposite side are fairly in darkness because of the structure of the lighting. And the instructions were that this is what he says, this is what she's accusing him of, that she was to sit in the south stand opposite the commentary box with her legs up and apart so I could perv on her with binoculars.
Ew.
And he said that the girl would have been there with her mom, and he didn't even own binoculars, which is another. He is terrible at denying things. I don't even own binoculars. How about I don't want to look at a kid's fucking vagina? How about that? Start with that, work back to binoculars.
What the fuck?
He didn't say, I didn't do that or I don't want to do that. He said, her mom was there and I don't even own binoculars. So how could I have done it? That sounds like a guilty person. Not, what? That's disgusting. Of course not. I'm an adult. Why would I want to look at a kid's fucking underside? Ah, Jesus Christ, man.
That's amazing. What a statement.
What a complete asshole. He goes on, this whole fucking... Jesus Christ. This whole interview is infuriating. At one point...
I don't own binoculars. It was Sunday and I don't have a car. What?
I like ham. All right? That's terrific.
That's good enough,
for you,
sir.
Guy. We're sorry. We're very sorry. Someone get him a Pepsi or something because he's had a rough time. You need a snack? Anything, sir? Where can we take you?
What in the shit?
Want to go to the elementary school to feel better? Okay. Oh, the middle school. Okay, that's where you like it.
You want to play Red Rover? What's going on, sir?
He says that they say that the people, everyone's saying the girls' stories are credible because they're very similar, but he claims, Bob says that they've all communicated with each other, quote, on the internet.
Okay.
He
that
has
goddamn internet.
According to him, the damn internet, 73-year-old man, they're all on the internet plotting against me.
They're talking to each other, and that's how shit like this happens.
According to him, that's how it all happens.
Can't let people talk.
Wow. According to him, he calls the organization, he says they've formed an organization that he calls HATS, H-A-T-S, which stands for Heather, Amy, Twiggy, and Sue Ellen, which are the names of the fucking
girls.
Wow, does he have balls. He said they were in touch with each other all the time, and thus he had stood no chance. He said that he tried to explain that to his lawyer. He said, quote, I think the lawyer thought that they were that we're from Africa and we're third world country and that we don't have internet or anything like that out here. I just don't know. To me, it was a put-up job.
Okay.
It's a put-up job.
Yeah.
A fucking put-up job.
By the hats.
By the hats. The hats are putting him up.
He's like,
wow. Holy shit.
It's like Gary Busey taking letters and making words.
Oh, my God. From that fucking interview.
Yeah.
Imagine him walking out of that studio just like he walks out, and then imagine the people left in the radio booth. Like, did that just fucking happen? Did that just happen in our booth? Did he just come in here in our studio and just say what he just fucking said? It's a put-up job? Hats? Really? What the fuck is going on, man? So he does this interview at the radio station here. Ridiculous, man. He leaves the radio station. He's unbelievable. I don't even know what to say about that. That's crazy. He leaves the radio station. He's trying to find someone to believe his story is what he's doing. But at this point, he's just like, he tried to say, I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't work. So then he's like,
doesn't anybody get it? I don't own binoculars.
I don't own binoculars. What the beginning and end. It ends with that.
Right.
So he's trying to find that. He tried to say, like, I know the girls, I coached them, but I didn't touch them. Now he's like, they're crazy. He's gone to all these different things. He's just tired now of even trying to explain it. He's tired. Most of all, he's hungry. He's very hungry, and he smells something delicious right outside the radio station. He opens up the door to the shop, and it's the shawarma man. And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Why are you here? Why you come? I don't know. No. You come in. I know you want shawarma. I make the best shawarma. I understand. Shawarma man, I have limits. Okay?
I have one
rule. I have rules. You come in with cocaine. I say, maybe you give shawarma man. No, you don't give shawarma man. I have problems. But I let you in anyway. I let people in. I say, you want lamb? I make for you. I give to you. But for you, little girl, you say no, little girl. You treat little girl like she is Peter Pocket. No. Signs say closed. You go. Out! Go! I no make for you. Out! Gone. Poof. And in a puff of shawarma and anger, the shop is gone, and Bob's very confused.
Tzatziki sauce.
Puff of tzatziki in anger. Shawarma man will not serve him.
No.
This is the first man he's absolutely refused.
Get the fuck
Normally
out.
He says, I'll make for you.
I reserve rights for refusal of service.
Very angry this time. He will not refuse him. March 2015, there has been charges filed, and this shit's going to trial.
In 2017?
2015. This shit goes to trial. His lawyers argued that the trial had, quote, overemphasized the seriousness of the offenses.
What? How do you overemphasize child molestation?
All I have to say is that guy doesn't get it, obviously. If you're going into court in 2015 with 4 girls saying you molested them, and you're like, they're overemphasizing the seriousness of the offenses.
It's clearly blown out of proportion.
You don't fucking get it.
No.
He then added that, quote, Jesus Christ almighty, I can't believe a lawyer said this in fucking court.
Oh, boy.
His lawyer that this man pays to represent him in a positive manner said this, quote, he had only raped each of the rape complainants once and had not repeated the offenses. What the fuck's the problem? I don't get it. They're overemphasizing the seriousness of this. He raped each of them like one time. Like it's like 4 rapes tops in this whole courtroom.
If you look at all the times he's had sex in his life, he's barely raped at all.
Everyone in this courtroom, this whole courtroom's full, right? He's only raped 4 people out of everybody.
4 people in this entire room?
There's like 200 people here. He's raped
doing all right.
4 of them. I mean, that's like fucking 2%.
It's pretty good odds.
That's pretty good. Like, I mean, sorry, here.
I want them to investigate this fucking lawyer.
That's what I'm saying, man.
How many times are you raping people over and over, sir?
Yeah, they try to like attack these women.
Yeah,
credibility.
They have to.
This Sue Ellen Sheehan has a strained relationship with her family, stating that her family supports Bob. By the way, Bob says later on in that interview that he talks to her family. He has their phone number and their address, and he talks to them.
Well, yeah,
they don't believe her.
She's probably a bit fucked up, and she doesn't have good.
That's the thing. She's molested when she was fucking 11. What do you expect?
She doesn't have good relationships with people,
maybe.
And her family fucking facilitated you diddling her, you dickhead.
Maybe you have a fucking maybe just maybe you might be a little angry at your parents if they let you get molested even after you kept telling them that you were being molested.
She might have a little bit of animosity
about that. Possible, yeah. Wow. They also went on to say that Sue Ellen had lodged 36 complaints at various police stations, and that they were in possession of all the case numbers and details. Also, the charges, he said, ranged from rape and assault to theft, intimidation, and fraud. There was also 6 cases pending against her. They were trying to discredit her, basically. But there's also 3 other women who don't have all those things happening, so it doesn't matter. None of that shit matters.
So 1 out of the 4 that you raped has a fucked up life now? Okay, let's move forward.
Hewitt, she claims that Hewitt raped her in his car under some trees before tennis practice in Boxburg one day in 1982 when she was how old?
11.
12.
Oh, good God.
Her father, she told her father, you know what her father told her? Quote, get over it. Wonder why she's had a fucked up life. Dad, please protect me. This guy's raping me. Get over it. You're fine. You go on, you have great relationships, your jobs are wonderful, nothing in your life is fucked up at all after
Lace
that
up your kids, you got practice tomorrow.
Wow, man. Unfucking believable. That is... the father said, quote, Sue Ellen said he did this. I said it may have happened at 12, but now you're 41. What can you do about it? Get over it, is what he told her now, too. He told her that now. He told her at the time. She told him at the time, and she told him now, too. And he was like, so what? It was 30 years ago. Fucking who gives a shit? Because the parents are on his side.
I understand that statement for a couple of reasons, but I also know that statement is complete horseshit.
Exactly.
I guess what Dad just said is, I don't have any way of fixing this. Right.
Not my fault.
I don't know what to do now. That's what Dad said.
Yeah.
But what came out was, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
That's what he said. That's
because
what
he didn't know what
like.
to do, and he's too dickless and ballless to fucking actually try. To
give a shit.
To put his own shit aside and his own discomfort aside and try to comfort his kid, which is what you're supposed to do in that situation.
What you should say is, I am ill-equipped to deal with this.
Yes, let's get you some therapy.
Come to me, I have to hug you first.
Yes, and then we'll both go to therapy.
And then we'll move on.
Yes.
Because I don't know what to do. You don't know what to do. Let's not know what to do together.
That's all you can do.
And then we'll go about this trial and error.
That's all you can do.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. Instead,
you don't never say get over it.
That's not what you say.
That's like you never ask a pregnant girl how far. If you don't know, if you just see like a lady with a,
I did that in 7th grade.
I did it too.
As a 7th grade substitute teacher who was not pregnant.
I did it, and then I doubled down because
I said, "Yeah, you are." I argued with her about it. I did.
I saw a girl in a sundress, and I said, "How far along?" And she said, "I'm not pregnant." And I said, "Yes, you are."
Yeah, I did the same exact thing.
No, I'm not. And I was like, "I'm so sorry, but tell me, did you pick a name?" And she was like, "I'm not pregnant." And I'm like, "I gotta go."
My excuse was I was 12 at the time. What do you got? You 12?
No.
Okay.
I was 34.
Yeah, exactly. That's not great. I was in 7th grade in music class.
This was 3 years ago.
Yeah, this was just happened.
This is a girl at a comedy club.
This is a girl. Shit, I'm Facebook friends with this broad. So
I was, and
hilarious.
she unfriended me after that.
Perfect. She's smart. So
that's my point. You never ask a girl how far along she is, and you never, ever tell somebody that's been molested, get over it.
No.
Ever.
And Sue Ellen's parents both told the court that they were unaware that she claimed she'd been raped by the tennis champion, even though she said she told them. Her mother said, quote, if this had happened, the case would have taken place some 30-odd years ago, except that you ignored it when she told you.
And she was fucking 12.
And she was fucking 12, exactly. According to the father, he told his daughter to get over it and said that she had been making a big deal out of it.
Like you do?
Wow. Wow. The court also heard Sue Ellen had also accused her father of rape. The first time wow. So, yeah, Michael, the father, denied the allegation in court, quote, followed by a chuckle, which is an odd response to, did you rape your daughter? Shit, no. That's not funny.
Right.
That's it. I just gave you the response. No.
Shit,
End of story.
That's not funny.
That's it. Did you see my face change? Did I chuckle?
That's not funny.
No, that's not funny. I did not.
What a terrible... I can't imagine. This poor family. This is fucked up.
The mother said that Sue Ellen was never alone with Hewitt and basically that she's full of shit. Mr. Hewitt never took my children anywhere, she said. He never picked her up anywhere. I would have known about it.
We wouldn't allow it because I heard he was fucking people.
It's all about I would have known about it because it's all about I didn't allow this to happen.
Right.
I'm not a bad parent. Rather than I'm going to take care of my kid, this is I didn't do anything wrong.
Right.
This isn't my fault. It's ridiculous.
No, but your child's hurt, and you fucking tend to your child when she's hurt.
Now, Teresa Twiggy Tolkien talks about how he touched her inappropriately and forced her to perform a sex act on him when she was 12 and 13 years old. She sat there in court and gave the whole detail. She said she used to live 2 blocks from him and would often go to his house for private tennis lessons. She was active and she would walk there and, like to play tennis. Her mom would drop her off or pick her up sometimes. Sometimes she'd ride her bike. Sometimes Hewitt would give her a ride home.
Of course.
You never, hey, I'll give her a ride home.
Well, her vagina's sore now. It's hard to walk.
Exactly. Or she would jog home, whatever, and she would phone him the minute that she arrived home so he could time her how long it took to run, because it's like, how long's the run type of thing. And what's your time today?
Also, I hope you didn't stop by the police station on your way.
Yeah. She said, quote, if I was fit and had improved on the day before and after tennis at his house, he would give me a kiss.
Yeesh.
He would stand behind me.
What a reward.
Oh, my God. He would stand me behind his car, and he would start off just by giving me a peck on the mouth. And from there, he would take me to his squad at Old Johannan's Club in Lynxfield, and he would tell my parents, because he lives close to me, he'd say she wouldn't, not the kissing part. She was rushing a lot in this whole thing, and the defense attorney said, can we ask that the witness slows down? We're trying to write everything down, and we're battling to keep up. The judge looked over his glasses and said, well, maybe you should try to write faster. I keep up. Which I think is hilarious. Fuck you, basically.
Right.
You're representing a monster.
I'm not letting her go through this slower, you fucking asshole.
And he actually did instruct her to slow down a little bit, though. But he told the guy, go fuck yourself, too, at the same time. We didn't want that to come up on appeal.
I'm writing just fine, honey.
Yeah.
Just a little bit slower.
She said he told my parents that he would bring me home after squad training at Old Johannan's. And this made sense because they lived right by each other. It would save the parents a trip all the way to the tennis club. Everybody wins. But instead, he would not take her directly home. He would take her to the rugby pitch below the tennis courts. Quote, it would be getting dark and everybody else would have left, and he would lie down. He would lie me down on the grass.
Oh, he did this. Oh, gross.
She said,
Jesus.
She
People
didn't know
playing rugby on top of fucking child molestation grass.
She said, yeah, absolutely.
Jesus.
She said she didn't know what the terminology was back then, but his penis was erect under his shorts. He would touch my breasts and touch my privates. Wow. That is ridiculous. She said she could remember the discomfort of his beard touching her skin, which is just gross for this poor kid. The attorney, the prosecutor, said, just a minute, where did you have him touch? Where did he have you touch him? And she said, quote, on his penis, my lord, which I find to be a weird statement. I don't know why, because they call him my lord, as everybody over there.
That's just a hard way of saying that. That's gross.
He talked her into, he said, to kiss it. So she said, I literally just kissed it. And then he said that because she was 12, she didn't understand that was a kiss to her. She's a fucking child. He said to me, no, this is how you do it. And he explained that I have to open my mouth. And he explained the whole thing. She gave I don't need to give this, explicit details of the instructions he gave her.
We get how to give a blowy.
That's what I mean. She said, in the 80s, we did as we were told. I had respect for adults, and I did as I was told. This fucking monster son of a bitch bastard. Her parents allowed her to go on a trip with him. On a fucking trip. Delilah told my mother that I would be fine with Bob because my mother did not let us go anywhere alone. But the wife convinced the mother of this shit. Oh, you motherfucker. God damn it.
Wait, Delilah went to the mom and
said, no, they can go on a trip with Bob. They'll be safe with Bob.
Oh, boy.
Bob's very safe. Oh, okay. He said she was 12. She drove around to his Sun City. On the way to their destination, he had a sob. She said he pulled over to the road, and that's when he was saying he wanted her to
kiss it. Yep.
More later. Again, more. Yeah. This was after the first time.
Keep kissing.
Then he made her go in. He was in a hotel room, and he had her come into the hotel room, and he wanted her to get into the bathtub with him. And he got naked and the whole deal, climbed into the bath, told her to get into the bath and lie on top of him. Oh, my God, Jesus Christ, this whole thing here. They said, why did you take your clothes off in court? And he said, because he asked me to.
He told me to.
Fuck, man. Then there's some horrible details I just can't do. I just don't have it in me to talk about that. I don't have it in me to give the details of what happened here. Yeah, he was... oh, Jesus Christ, man. He told her very formal shit the way he said stuff, too. She said he would always use the word intercourse, saying he wanted to have intercourse with her, and then said, quote, he said that he wanted to put his penis in me and penetrate me. He often used the word penetrate.
Ew, gross.
Fuck! Oh, I hate this fucking man so much.
It's like he read a book on child molestation and then just spit out the words that he read.
Anyway, yeah, Jesus Christ.
Good, great.
He ended up having sex with her in this hotel room, and she told him it hurt, so he stopped, but he tried anyway. Now we have letters.
Oh, boy.
We have letters.
Sweet Pete.
Wow. Here we go. This is a letter that he sent to Twiggy when she was 12.
Fuck. Okay,
12. Go. My love. Bully for me. I found a pen. It's raining at 12:23. Hope it stops because I want to work with you today. Apart from that fact, I want to see you. Can't, of course, hold or kiss you as it has come from you. You are not normally very quick in starting these things, at least not so in the past. I am so flat I can't call you. Unfortunately, you are the only person capable of lifting me up. In the past 2 days, I know you have had your own problems, in parentheses. You have not only knocked me flat, but left me way down in the dungeon. You know where I am and how to contact me, etc. So anytime you wish to have a talk about anything else, you know I am always available in body, heart, and mind, as well as soul.
Ew.
I love you, XXX Bob, XXXXXXXXX.
Dude, you're fucking... she's 12?
Yeah. She said that she received this letter within the 6-month period where she first started being coached by him, and he said apparently bully for me was he said that all the time. That was like his famous thing that he said on the court. He used to say it all the time. If he did something good, he'd say bully for me. Next one, here we go. Subject is my love for you. To my big love. Quote, I would like to apologize for not writing you from WP, but I really don't have your address. I'm cross with you for not trusting me. I can only assume that you think of me as a sex maniac. Believe me, I'm not. My heart is going faster and faster because in 40 minutes I will see you again. Well done yesterday. You put a little weight on. Not very much, though, and I love it. He loves it.
I like where you're getting chubby, girl. Fuck you, man.
He says, and I love it. I love you. I hope we can keep it up for a long time, like forever. What we were doing yesterday, and begin very, very soon, phase 1, and then soon after phase 2.
Okay.
Really, my love, I can't wait. And only because of my love for you. Between you and me, I believe you have improved so much in the past 2 months. It's unbelievable. I feel more strongly about your tennis than ever before, and I hope with all my heart you make it. Your father is determined to keep you at St. Andrews. I wish you would be there and chip in when I talk to him about it. Something ineligible love now, or illegible love now. All my love, Bob. P.S. This letter does not self-destruct, so please do it yourself now. P.S. Instead of asking questions to Karen about me, Karen only knows 10% girl things of what I know.
Oh, my.
So he's saying don't talk to your teenage girlfriends about sex because I know everything.
I'm really good at it.
And please don't tell them also because I'll get arrested.
This should go in the trash right now.
Yeah.
That's when I know.
He coached another girl.
She should have said, Mom, look, this guy's fucking me, and I want you to make it stop.
Please. And I don't even know if her parents, who knows?
She shouldn't have to fucking do that.
Another girl from the 1990s took the stands because he was doing this. Imagine how many between then and then. This woman, she described the sexual abuse she faced. He gave her private tennis lessons from 14 to 17 years of age. She said, quote, at a private lesson, he was quite jovial. We were discussing tactics, and he said to me, quote, rape is enjoyable in all cases, and if I rape you, you need to lie down and enjoy it.
Oh, boy.
She said that in a court of law, and this guy was like, "It's fine."
It was only once, Your Honor.
But she was just was against his advances. She rebuffed them, and then she said, quote, "By the time I got home, he had already phoned my mother and told her he doesn't think I have the mental toughness for tennis." So he's like, well, she won't fuck me. I'm not coaching this kid.
I don't want this one.
Wow, she's not going to be a good tennis player if she won't fuck me. She also, oh, man. She said that he would rub against her inappropriately and would scold her if she moved away. Quote, "I would try to pull away from him. He would get angry. I could feel him rubbing up and down behind me. I could feel something hard on my back, which I assume now as an adult was an erection." Yeah. So, yeah, I would
How are you going to beat these Williams girls if you can't even take this dick?
How are you going to do it? You're not. You need mental toughness. Right. Martina, you ever seen Martina Navratilova? She's a fucking beast. You want to beat her.
Steffi Graf is so good. If you don't take this penis, you'll never beat her.
The defense.
You can't beat this dick. You can't beat her.
The defense. Yeah. They had a former student testify that she saw nothing unusual during their coaching sessions and had no knowledge of her doing anything wrong. That's their defense. Well, he didn't molest every one of his students. No shit. Out of all the hundreds, he didn't molest all of them.
He just picked
Shocking.
the hot ones.
He just picked whatever.
The ones that made his dick tingle.
It's not even that. It's the ones that he knew he'd get away with it with. These fuckers have a sixth sense. Yeah. These fucking predators have a sixth sense. Yeah. They know, A, the ones that are weak and the ones that they can do it to, the ones that possibly have had it done before, and they can fucking sense the ones that aren't going to tell. They fucking know, man.
And then the ones that are going to tell or won't take it are the ones that get kicked out.
They're the ones that get kicked out where, made a bad call on that one. But these fucking predators they have a sixth sense about it's. I mean, I guess that's evolution-wise, that's how they would survive. But still, man, this woman also said that she testified here that it was normal for tennis coaches to keep tennis balls in their pockets, and she found nothing unusual about Hewitt standing behind students to show them how they should move their shoulders or hips. If they're rubbing their dick on you, that's a problem. I would say so here. So also she talks about how she knew about the Twiggy Tolkien abuse allegations, but the fact that the mother was also aware but chose to keep her in class meant that they all thought she was lying and no one cared because she was the only one. Now, March 23rd, 2015 is the verdict. He is found guilty of rape and indecent assault. Judge Bert Bam ruled that the three victims' testimonies had a striking resemblance and that the state was able to prove penetration occurred based on their testimonies. Quote, "The state's evidence against the accused is overwhelming. The three complainants have basic rights. Time did not erase the crimes. A guilty person should not go unpunished. The scales of justice tip against the accused. Fuck you." He is held under a form of house arrest in a farmhouse in southern Africa until his sentencing now. That's where he'll be held. Wow. These poor fucking girls
I feel so bad for them.
How sick. I feel sick about this whole thing, and I feel sick that no one would help them. No one would fucking help them.
Not even their parents.
Not even would help. Their parents wouldn't help them. The whole deal is South African Asshole Tennis Association can eat shit because they help too.
They knew.
Everybody fucking helped. I mean, the fucking poor. I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. Feel bad, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Bob Hewitt, who serves as the chief executive officer at Klondike Garden Centers Limited in the UK. Bob Hewitt, an actor who played the character Hollandia Rower in the 2010 movie The Social Network.
No shit.
Robert Hewitt, the USDA National Resources Conservation Service person. It's something to do with weed. I don't know. Bob Hewitt, a career 3-6-2 boxer from Australia.
Oh, my God.
Who debuted in 1963.
Oh, this poor guy.
I was like, is that him? I thought it might have been him. Wow. Bob Hewitt, a qualified chartered engineer and member of the Institution of Civil Engineers and a member of the Chartered Institution of Highways and Transportation. He has over 40 years of professional experience as a public sector engineer.
Good for him.
In the UK. Bob Hewitt, a wrestler, a college wrestler for Lock Haven University in Pennsylvania.
No.
A rower for Great Britain named Bob Hewitt.
So many athletes.
And finally, Dr. Bob Hewitt, a respected dentist.
Oh, God.
Who people think diddles little girls. Fucking poor
they
people.
Google him.
Those poor people. May 18th, 2015 is sentencing. His wife, Delilah, broke down during the sentencing, during the testimony, because they get, to give mitigating and aggravating, and described how she's sick, she has cancer, And she has ovarian cancer, and she needs Bob to take care of her.
Yeah.
And please don't take Bob away.
Right.
The trial judge said that Hewitt, quote, manipulated the girls to get them under his spell, and after having groomed them, and after they had fallen in love with him, the accused proceeded to have intercourse with them without needing their express consent. You, sir, may fuck off. 8 years in prison.
Wow.
For your old ass.
That's, I mean...
He's 75.
Minimal, but that's pretty solid. That's pretty good.
2 years of this sentence will be suspended on the condition that he pays a penalty fee towards supporting survivors of rape and sexual assault. So he has to make a large donation to some organization. April 6, 2015, he's kicked out of the Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's
Finally
great.
boot him for good.
Yep.
Take a fucking hike, asshole, which is finally good here. They said, quote, the conviction was issued by South African court in March of 2015, and the appellate courts have now denied the right to further appeals, so they booted him. They deny the right to appeal the conviction, but he can appeal his sentence. He's going to do that.
Really?
Oh, yeah. First sentence appeal, they reiterated that the crimes were overemphasized. The whole deal.
You cannot overstate rape, sir.
No, there is no overstatement of that, especially with a child.
You can't overstate child rape ever.
That's the worst. That's as bad as you get.
That's the worst one. For sure.
You fucked it up bad.
Sorry that there has to be a worse, but that's it.
That's the one.
Yeah.
They said that Hewitt's age and health should be considered in this whole process. The prosecution said obviously they don't want it to be lowered. The sentence, they think he deserves every fucking
Now's
minute
the
of
time that they should be using the word diabolical for this motherfucker.
This is diabolical.
Yeah.
He said that. Listen to what his fucking lawyer's argument was, because now they can't appeal the conviction. So he's not saying I didn't do it anymore. Now they're just trying to get the sentence reduced.
Yeah.
He says, "Holy shit." His attorney argues that he was a changed man and that he had, quote, not continued raping young girls. Oh. Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry. What are we all doing
we
here?
Inconvenienced this
Again,
poor man.
Can someone get him
clearly
something, a sandwich, something to eat, get him a ride home? This poor son of a bitch. He hasn't raped any. Oh, well, he stopped raping young girls. Everything's good.
Thank God for him stopping.
Wow.
Can you imagine how many there would be if he didn't?
No. That's not the ballsiest thing he said.
Okay.
Want to get really mad?
Yeah.
Lawyer also said that the trial court should have considered the mitigating circumstance, that one of his victims said it was painful. He took his dick out of her. So he should get less time. Literally. Are you fucking kidding me? You didn't brutally injure a 12-year-old girl, so that makes it okay?
He's a remorseful rapist, James. He really feels terrible that she can't accommodate such a huge monster penis.
Oh, my fucking God. I am so disgusted with this motherfucker.
What the fuck?
The justice here said that the psychological trauma of the complainants had to take precedent of this whole thing. She also said the court could have imposed a life sentence considering the nature.
Yeah.
He's fucking lucky to have 6 years.
Be thankful.
He should shut his old ass up and get to fucking jail is what they said basically here. So they said that he had no remorse whatsoever. Obviously he didn't. He's like, well, I stopped raping young girls. What's the big fucking deal here? Jesus Christ. His wife said, quote, "My Lord, I have never had to beg before, but I'm asking you from the bottom of my heart to please let my husband return to the farm, as I could not survive without him." So, yeah.
Maybe you should have begged for him to stop raping children.
The judge said, quote, "I feel that I lose a drop of blood out of my heart every day this pain has been caused." That's what she told the judge. And he basically listened to her and then ignored what she was like, "That's great." She said, quote, "The media went on a complete manic frenzy. We were hounded 24/7. We had no privacy. They climbed trees. Our son was stalked in shopping malls." And the judge was like, "That's fine.
Next.
I don't know what to tell you." So now we have Bob here on the stand. Bob says
he came up with his sixth sense and said, "I see molestable people.
I see molestable people all over the gallery." He says, in their own words, quote, "In my life, I have faced adversity, but this one is unbearable. My biggest sadness is for my adorable children." That's it. That's all he had to say.
What?
That's it. Nothing about the girls. Also, Jesus Christ, man.
My adorable but unfuckable children.
Delilah had to, yeah. So the lawyer says, one thing is clear: the accused is no longer a threat to the community. I mean, he's not raping anybody right now. So it's Jesus Christ, man. This is ridiculous, though. He has no remorse. He has shit. He's just a terrible person. The judge said here at the court needed to remember that his modus operandi was a grooming situation, which is right. It's not like other rape cases where people are lured somewhere and physically abused. This is a grooming situation. There is no remorse at all. You had to think about that and plan it and do it. This is way worse than jumping on someone in an alley. It really is. I mean, that's horrible. But July 20th, 2015, another one comes forward. Another woman comes
after
forward.
It's already done.
Leanne Taylor, who was 9.
Oh, my God.
9 in the 1980s. 9 fucking years old when he did this to her. Accused of abusing her in his car, clubhouses, and anywhere else he found a quiet place, she said. She said she only found the courage to speak out after she attended the trial in secret last year. She said, quote, "For 30 years, I buried it and I thought I was okay. I thought it hadn't affected me at all, but when I look back now, I realize it's affected me badly. The whole purpose of life is to have bonds with people, is to trust people, to love people. I have none of those." So this poor fucking woman, another woman he destroyed, this is terrible. She can't seek legal action because her sexual assault took place over 20 years ago and it doesn't match up. She does say she's going to get professional help now. His last appeal, June, to have his sentence reduced. His lawyers argued that he's a changed man. The whole thing, they do the same thing. He's aged. He's It doesn't matter. The court said this is the Supreme Court of Appeals. Hewitt, ironically the father of a young girl himself, at the material time, exploited the complainant's innocence and youth and forced them to submit to his wicked desires. He abused his position of authority and responsibility toward them and also abused the trust of their parents that their parents had placed in him when they put their young children in his care. You, sir, again may fuck off for that. That was a beautiful one. So the sentence fitted the crimes and the crime and fairly balanced the competing interests. So fuck you. Jail is perfect for you, dickhead. They said his celebrated status does not therefore earn him a special sentence. So June 15th, they let this asshole out on bail for a while he appeals the sentence again. This is ridiculous. They let him out on bail with this application to get out, whatever. People are pissed that they let him out at all. They're like, why are you letting this asshole out? But they let him out. No problem. They do that. In the sentencing appeal, he argues that the loss of his reputation, the shame and stigma of the rape conviction was sufficient punishment enough.
Sure.
I don't think so. No. They did not agree, and they said, sentence fits the crime, asshole. Take a hike. He is denied another appeal. He's shit out of luck. He is forced to, he's going to be sent to prison here. Yeah. Twiggy Tolkien said, she, quote, "My mother and I have been waiting for tomorrow for a very long time. I just wish my dad was around to witness this day. Bob Hewitt has tried to evade justice and tried everything at his disposal to stay out of jail the past few years. He has continually lied about his despicable actions. The truth always catches up with you, and hopefully this is a lesson for other pedophiles out there. Don't ever think you're above the law. You will be caught. To all the other victims, don't be afraid to speak up. There are people and organizations like Women and Men Against Child Abuse out there who will hold you up and support you through your ordeal." True. Also, keep an eye out for changes in your fucking kids and things like that. September, and also not everyone wants to touch their buttholes, too. So it might not be that. So just whatever. Talk to your kids. September 20th, 2016, he has to report to jail. He's finally reporting to jail. He hands himself over to authorities at St. Albans Correctional Center in Port Elizabeth. Reporters outside arrive at the crack of dawn to try to get a picture of him. However, he was already there. He got there even earlier. They snuck him in the back door to not make a big thing. He will enjoy some privileges at the prison as a result of being categorized as a medium offender. Ugh. Medium offender. They placed Hewitt in a medium B center. The maximum center does not allow contact visits for the first 6 months, while at a medium center, he will enjoy 2 visits per month, which can at least last up to 45 minutes each. Quote, "At the moment, he is undergoing a security risk and health assessment. This will indicate which type of cell he will be put in. As you know, he has a health condition, but all of this will be taken into consideration, and it will be determined by the close of today whether or not he goes to a group, single, or hospital cell." So he's going to get fucking special privileges in jail for this horse shit. Pampered. Treated fucking well as a medium. I don't even know what they're doing with him, but it doesn't matter. He's 70. What is he now? 78 years old. 78 years old, 77 years old. Fucking die in prison, please.
He will.
I hope that he does.
Yeah.
I really, really fucking hope that he does. And I'm a little pissed at Delilah, if I'm being quite honest here.
I'm not her fucking best friend.
I feel like she knew.
Yeah.
I feel like she had to know.
She's got to know something.
She had to know something was wrong.
Or at least suspected.
Something.
And if she didn't,
man.
what the fuck are you looking for?
That's the other thing. Pay attention. Then again, he's on the road all the time.
Yeah.
And all that. Who the fuck knows? I don't want to blame her for it, but I just want this guy. I
don't blame her for it, but I definitely tell her she's an asshole for not looking further.
Crush his windpipe while he's in the fucking gym somewhere or something in prison. Just someone stab him.
10-pound barbell.
I hate this fucking guy.
Could do some work.
Oh, he's great.
He's old and brittle.
He's like 80 years old.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Just shove him over.
Right.
I don't care. So obviously the satire. We're not
not rooting for
violence, but we're kind of rooting for something bad to happen to this guy because I fucking hate him.
We're not begging.
No, we're not begging for it. But if it happens, it happens.
Whatever.
Can't get enough of Bob Hewitt.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. You can get the book Justice Served: The Trial and Conviction of Bob Hewitt, which just like I did,
I like that.
for $13.
That's a good pun.
It's a pretty good. It's not bad. Justice Served. It's not a bad book actually. They do a pretty good job. I found some decent detail in there. Certain things. I mean, not everything, but I got 10 minutes out of it, which for me. 10 minutes out of a source is a lot, so it's good. Good job.
That is a solid tennis pun, actually.
I
really like that.
Not a bad job. So that's Bob Hewitt.
Yeah.
Holy shit, what a goddamn disaster.
Dirty Love would have been a better one.
That would have been, Dirty Love. That would have been perfect. Dirty/love, too. That would have been the one to do.
Great.
That's a much better pun. Yeah. I like that. Good job, Jimmy.
Thank you.
You should write shittily titled books, or at least title them. I'm not sure which.
Just pun up some books.
You missed your calling, Jimmy. Holy shit, man. If you like that case, I don't know what the hell's wrong with you, but if you like hearing a horrible case of an awful man, I told you he was an awful person, that you wouldn't like him at all anymore after the end of this.
I didn't know who he was.
You should hate that you said he was your kind of guy more than anything. You said that. I'm like, don't say that now.
Don't say it.
Don't say it.
I mean, in his playing career, he seemed like my kind of guy.
He's not going to be a Mandy Maloon where we come back and go, actually, decent cat.
Actually, I've had a nice heart-to-heart with him.
Fuck that guy. He can eat shit.
I never want to hear from him.
He can eat shit. So that's Bob Hewitt. If you like that show or like that story, please get on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Tell us whatever you want. Tell us you're following instructions, following directions. It helps so much.
It does.
If you want to be an even bigger superstar like the people we're going to talk about in just a moment here, you can go to patreon.com/crimeinsports or go to PayPal, make a one-time donation using our email address, crimeinsports@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of us, crimeinsports@gmail.com is one of the ways to do it, or Instagram and Twitter @crimeinsports, Facebook.com/crimeinsports.
There you go.
Crime and Sports all over the damn map, everybody. And with that said, I got to tell you guys also, crimeinsports.threadless.com and website, shutupandgivememurder.com. And with that said, Jimmy, why don't you hit us with the list of my favorite goddamn people on earth? And I know they're your favorite people, too, because they keep us afloat because cocksuckers like Audio Boom don't fucking pay us.
They don't.
Goddamn fucking Podcast One doesn't put ads on Small Town Murder. Eat dicks, you cocksucking network motherfuckers. Jimmy, hit us with the list.
Happy birthday, first of all, to Cliff Paquette. I think that's his last name. And,
I think so.
And John Redmond. Thank you guys so much for listening. Chrissy Ann Castaldi and Sarah Gilbo continue to be fucking incredible. Thank you both so much.
You're the best.
Connie
Thank
Young,
you.
Asanu Zell Nelson. That's it. Asanu Zu Nelson. No, Asanu Zell Nelson. Fucking shit. Kathleen Marquardt, Michelle Hayes, Kevin Gilroy. He's a local comic in Phoenix. He's
I like him.
They call him
Nice
the worst local comic, but he's a fucking great dude.
He's a nice guy. I've never seen his
very,
comedy.
He's going to come meet us.
Don't. He might be a good comic.
He'll be at the Phoenix show.
Yeah,
so
come out and see us, Kevin.
Jill Krauth, Melanie Steinel, Elizabeth Britton, Ted Cyrus, Kimberly Vautour. Jed. I'm a fucking terrible writer. Robert Madursky, Kapow Designs, Kapow. She up there in New York.
We love her.
James Cook continues to fucking support us. Thank you so much, James. Aaron Campbell, Mary Faust. Thank you so much, Mary, for your email.
Yes, that was cool.
Congratulations,
Thank you very much.
and keep fucking moving forward.
Really.
You're doing the Lord's work, and
we read that, man. We both,
It's fucking
That's
incredible.
Awesome.
You're
we're
awesome.
happy for you, Mary.
Elizabeth Heitbrink, Madeline Bro, David Immel, Phoebe Lara, Under the Sea Fabrics. I'm not sure what it is. I hope you guys are supporting them, whatever they do. Nathan Tebay, Jacqueline Hall. Nathan Tebay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Tebay.
I thought it was a joke and it was Teabag. I'm like, did you say Nathan Teabag and keep moving?
No. I would have had some
Sorry,
words
Mr.
for him.
Teabag. We appreciate
He gets
you.
that a lot, I'm sure of it. Stacey L. Langtot. It's got to be Langtot, right? Lanct. Yeah, she's donated before.
Is it with the C?
It might be Langstott.
Langstott?
Oh, could be.
Maybe that's less
because Langtit is brutal.
Less consonant-y.
Right, it's less difficult. Mark Hamill. I hope that's it's not. I wanted it to be, but it's not.
Did Luke Skywalker give us money? Thanks, Luke.
Mariah Men here. Thank you, Mariah. She's terrific. She's
she's the best. She's we like her a lot. Mariah.
Lauren Odom, Tabitha McClary Beaver. No, Bayer.
Jesus Christ.
So sorry,
Johnny
Tabitha.
Teabag and Tabitha Beaver. This is great. You're batting 1,000, Jimmy.
Stephen Slade. Thank you so much. Regina Egan, one of the Egan sisters.
Hey, one of the
Thank
Egan
you
girls.
so much,
Thank
Regina.
you so much. She said she's not fancy like her sister negotiating raises, but her 3% raise is just
She'll take her
fine.
3 and chip us off some bucks.
2.6, she said. So that's really cool.
Regina.
We love us some Egan girls. Thank you.
Michelle Jolly in Australia. Thank you.
She's the best, too.
Watch
Always
your
comes
fucking
through.
children around people in Australia, apparently. Or, I guess South Africa,
watch
too.
your buttholes.
Just fucking around the area.
Everybody watch your kids' buttholes.
Everybody. Janice Klett, Christopher Reed. No, Christopher Lee. God damn it. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Araya Strauss, Megan Smith, Sarah Peterson, Nicole Dainzer, Tayen Kim. Tayen. Tayen. Tayen, right? I'm not sure. Fucking Jesus.
Oh, wow.
She's terrific. She sent me messages on Instagram, too, and I still can't pronounce her name. I didn't even ask because I'm an asshole. Donald Owen or Donal? Donald? It's Donald, right? Joseph Brouillet. Brouillet. What?
Yeah, that's
it's
a tough one.
Fucking that's French, right?
That's a tough one.
Brulee? It could be brulee. Like creme? It could be.
Like creme.
Jake LeBeer, Colin
Oh,
Lesky, Teresa Montano, Jacob Manbeck. Yes, almost called him Mandick. I'm so sorry, Jacob.
Mandick, Teabag, and fucking Mandy Beaver, or whatever the hell her name was. Terrible.
I think it was Tabitha.
Beaver.
Jesse Hartman, Kim Kinney, Will Eagleston, Autumn Allen, Marissa Wells, Peyton Meadows, Elizabeth Wolfinger, Brittany Smith, Mitchell Holmes, Megan Seibert, Nick Mahmood. Thank you so much, Nick. I appreciate you, brother. Cindy Villatoro, Celeste with no last name, Katrina Seabright, Tamesha Dorico, or Tamisha. It's probably Tamisha. Probably. Dylan Wimp. That's fucking. Are you serious? No. Could it possibly be really Wimp? No. That's fucked up. Your parents they should have for sure changed their last name.
Total dicks.
And Danny Booby, your parents are no worse or no better. I'm not sure. And they're probably amazing people.
These are all very nice people that were just befouling.
Annie Eckler,
setting.
Judith Keel, Vicky Yano Shaw, Jean. It's Jean Virginia Brinson. That's who it is. Lola Major, Mike Sapelli, Danny Cav, Jeffrey Goin, Caroline Rawson, probably. Krista I. Klett, or L. Klett. I think it's I. God damn it. Jenna Grosh. I'm so sorry, you guys. Neil Annis.
What's that last one?
Annis, Annis.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I got it.
I was going to say, do you have Teabag, Beaver, Anus, and fuck? That's too much. Come on.
This week is brutal.
Come on, guys.
Cody Aiello, Ariana Reyes, Ann Mancini, Candace Newby, Ted Ninkovich, Robert Yurgis, Colin Lesky, Kathy McGregor, Amanda Clare, Michael Guzman, Dirty Balls Podcast. I don't know what that one is. I haven't heard it yet. Thank you very much,
Thanks,
guys.
brother.
Kelly Morris, Megan Smith, Jesse Hartke, Haley Garena, Jeff Watson, Joanne Mullins, Shelley Comer, Robbie Burden, Antonio with no last name, Samantha Trarbick, Brittany McDonald, Jeff Watson, Robert Riggins, December Theron, Allison Davis, Tina Sanchez, and somebody named Mike. You guys are fucking amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for supporting what we do. We can't.
No, we can't thank you
legitimately
enough.
cannot do this without you.
And literally, what we said at the top of the show and all that shit, it's so true. If it wasn't for you guys, this would not be fucking possible. It doesn't happen. No one can work. We can't work this much for free. We just can't. It's impossible. Right. This is all I do.
And you wouldn't
all
either.
day, all night. Nobody out there is going to work 80 hours a week for 2 years for nothing.
Right.
And that's what I've done like an asshole. And fucking, you know what I mean? So thank you guys. And you guys fucking come through. And so it doesn't matter. We don't give a shit how much we get fucked over on the other side. Because honestly, man, when you get fucked over enough, you go, why am I doing this?
Right.
And then we go, oh yeah.
We have an audience
This
that
is
people
why
that
we're
give a
doing
shit.
this,
and
'cause
you guys
people
care
care
so much that you guys buy tickets to see us
man,
at
thank
shows shows.
guys.
So many of them that we have to put 2 fucking shows in cities now.
What we're
so
saying,
thank you guys,
is you guys are dicks that are making us fucking loyal to you, that we have to fucking do things for you now, and we don't appreciate you guys engendering all this loyalty from us.
Stop being such friends, goddammit.
Stop being so fucking good to us. I'm just kidding. We love you guys so much. Honestly, you're the only goddamn thing in this world we can count on with these shows. And so thank you guys. And we'll continue doing the shows just for you if we have to.
That's true.
We don't give a shit. It doesn't matter. What if a guy or lady, who knows, wanted to get a hold of a fella like yourself?
You
Jimmy,
can find
how
me
might they do that?
at Wisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Thank you guys so much for being around. Thank you for all your support. It's fucking amazing. And you guys can support James. Where at, James?
You can find me at Jimmy P is Funny on Twitter or whatever, or copy and paste my last name from the show description. It's an adventure, so don't bother trying to spell it yourself. There's an I in there. It's going to be a mess. That said, like we said, we're doing this for you. Everybody else eat dicks. Fuck Bob Hewitt. Rot in jail. Don't worry about your kids' buttholes, but also check your kids' buttholes. And all that said, live from the Crime and Sports Studios, we will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey. Everyone out there should listen to Small Town Murder. You really should, mainly because you never know who's next door. And that's the point of this show, really. You never know who is next door. You never know what's going to happen on Small Town Murder. That's what makes it so wonderful. The only thing you do know is that people are going to die, and we're probably going to make jokes about it. That's it. That's all we can promise you. We dig into these towns. We see what makes them tick, from local legends to scandals they may have had. And, of course, the biggest scandals of all, horrible murders that take place there. And we put our, what I feel is a completely appropriate comedic spin on the whole thing. And you know you need a laugh right now. So get in there, listen to Small Town Murder, follow Small Town Murder on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Small Town Murder early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.